Thanks for joining us on FS2. You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. A lovely shot in the evening as you're watching live coverage tonight of Dan Patch Night at Harris Hoosier Park. I'm your host, Acacia Clement. Thanks for joining us as we have another one of our celebrated and award-winning harness shows on tap for you tonight with some terrific racing coming up, as mentioned, highlighted by that Dan Patch Stakes, which will go as race 13, the final race on our program. We'll be showing you races 6 through 13 from Anderson, Indiana at Harris Hoosier Park. Plenty of other highlights to look forward to as well, including the Iron Horse Final and the Greg Hoston Memorial. As always, our races are presented by our friends at Claiborne Farm, as I'm pleased to welcome in New York Racing Association Assistant Racing Secretary Rob McLennan. And Rob, really excited to get a chance to do a show with you tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Keisha. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it. We should have some fun.
Yeah, and obviously, as I said, we see you over at NYRA working hard in the racing office, but you follow all kinds of racing and have experience really with pretty much every facet of horse racing.
Yeah, no, grew up thoroughbreds at Assiniboia Downs, but ended up moving to Century Mile for a couple of years. Called a couple of harness meets in the winter. We got 4 legs, we're okay with them.
Rob has done pretty much everything. He's done the gate crew, he's done analysis, called races. So if anything happens tonight, we've got somebody that can jump in. I feel safe.
I'll do what I can, but you're going to do the heavy lifting tonight.
we certainly will do that. Well, we have a live race for you coming up in just about a minute away. It's the Sweet Lou to kick things off on our program. A 1 mile pace here, Rob, and right now the 3. Tell me about it, taking most of the attention.
Yeah, tell me about it. Won one of the 3 elims for this race, one of the little series races here. Made the logical favorite. He went down the road in 1:50.2 as the favorite that day. He makes a lot of sense here, but you can go some other ways. 3 races all come together into one final, though. Absolutely.
We'll get a chance to see them lining up in here as we welcome in our boots on the ground over at Harris Hoosier Park. As always, going to lean heavily on Gabe Pruitt and Jessica Otten here with us. Guys, looks like a beautiful night for some great racing.
It is a beautiful night, Gabe. We're used to a bit warmer weather. It's pretty chilly here, and there's a little bit of a stretch wind coming around their backs.
Yeah, we'll see if that plays into the racing action as well, Jess. But yeah, we're in the upper 70s, guys. It is an absolutely gorgeous night. We're about 43 miles northeast of downtown Indianapolis here at Hoosier Park. It is a beautiful facility, a fantastic facility. This is their signature race, of course, each and every season with the Dan Patch, the 31st running of the Dan Patch right here tonight, Jess. We've seen some of the sport's biggest names come through here the past. Jetta's Beach Boy, Sweet Lou, Bulldog Hanover a couple of years ago. So, this is truly one of the biggest free-for-all races in the sport each and every year. Hoosier Park will get a great facility with that huge home stretch, guys, better than 1,250 feet, one of the longest stretches in harness racing.
Yeah, and sometimes when horses come from other tracks, they have a little bit of a hard time adapting to that first time over the surface. We have a couple of really nice horses coming into the race here tonight. It's going to be interesting because a lot of these are 4-year-old horses.
Yes, 7, in fact, just of the 10 in the Dan Patch. That's really an oddity because it's always tough. Obviously, horses, when they're at 2, they race against only 2-year-olds. When they're 3, they race against 3-year-olds. Then when they step in that 4-year-old campaign, they can race against 4-year-olds and up. So typically, we don't see a tremendous amount of 4-year-olds that are really good enough to step up and face some of those older veterans. We've got 7 here on the big stage tonight. It is going to be a heck of a horse race a bit later on for that signature, and of course, plenty of great action ahead.
A field of 10. The 10 will start from the trailing position behind the first 9 on the gate, and that is Charlie May, multiple stakes winner, and he had post 10 in this event last year.
Yes, he did, Jess, and he raced very well. He was first up there. He had a tough trip. He held on in a battle to be second there. Ponda Warrior, of course, last year's winner. Charlie May's the only horse in tonight's Dan Patch feature that has been in this event before.
It's going to be a great one. We're excited to be with you all night long, bringing you the action live from Harris Hoosier Park. We'll send it back to you guys.
Jess and Gabe, thank you so much. Plenty to look forward to, as they mentioned, as we see the field going by for this upcoming 6th race. Again, a 1 mile pace for the Sweet Lou. And as we touched on before horses heading out, the number 3, tell me about it. Who's in very good form right now, Rob? Currently your favorite, but we'll take a look at the Dan Patch Stakes coming up a little bit later on. Race 13, again, it will be on the program for older horses, and I think kind of one of the stories, as Jess mentioned, poor Charlie May, just like last year in the second tier.
Yeah, gonna have to find a little bit of a horse to follow here, and interesting group. There's horses that are trying to step on the scene, and then you've got Charlie May and a couple of the others who are tried and true.
5-2 morning line favorite, the number 3 Buzz Saw Russ. I thought was interesting as Charlie Weaver, the owner, said, I always include my partner in the name, and so he added in Russ in there, and so hopefully a little bit of a lucky name in there as well.
Could be a lucky name, but boy, was he good in his open victory last time. Couldn't have done it any easier. Big step up tonight, though, but he's a deserving favorite.
You can play along with all of the action. Sign up over at Naira Bets. Get started. Use promo code SPA250 for a $250 deposit match bonus. Sign up. Get started at nairabets.com or download the app today. As we mentioned, the Sweet Lou will kick things off as far as the live racing on our program. We talked a little bit about Tell Me About It. There he is on the track. 8-year-old gelding who, as mentioned, comes in off a nice victory. He's in very good form right now, kind of cementing himself as the horse to beat.
Yeah, Tell Me About It. Really did nothing wrong in the series getting ready for this. He is the horse going to be to beat here. He's drawn well today again from post 3. He's going to be the horse to beat here, and you can see he did it last week as well in the first leg of this.
He was at 2-1 last time as well. You mentioned being drawn well. He's going to be the number 3 in here with Trace Tetrick driving as well. When you talk about the draw, why is this an advantageous spot for him to be drawn in?
Well, he's going to be able to get over quickly, and he's going to be able to maintain position. Last week he was up close, took over going down the backside. He's going to be able to do that quite likely again if he wants to.
That's a look at Long Shot 5, Caveat Lotus, as another horse taking attention is the 7, Flirtin' JK. Another horse that's in good form, though second best to Tell Me About It last time out.
Yeah, he was second to Tell Me About It last time. He did a lot more work than Tell Me About It, but he was also 2 1/4 lengths behind at the wire, and we'll have to see if he can work it out today. 5-2, maybe a little shorter than we expected him to be, though.
Are you going with the favorite in here? Going to try to go against him?
I actually was going to try Smooth Bot. I thought he was good first over. He took a shot last time, did a lot of work. He kind of won the battle over the horse inside of him, but he lost the war. So I was going to try the 2 Smooth Bot in here.
Taking a look at Montana Chief and Smooth Bot last time out, as this is a nice performance from both. They will get a chance to rematch in here tonight.
Yeah, Montana Chief is going to sit right in third. He's down on the inside. He's going to be your eventual winner, tipping out 3 wide here in a second. Smooth Bot is engaging the 1-5 favorite from last time, Backstreet Gambler, who we don't see tonight. He gets to in front of him here, but he can't hold off the oncoming Montana Chief, who's going to get the job done and going to try to do it again tonight.
Looking for 3 in a row, Montana Chief. That was Backstreet Gambler, who was 1-5 last time out, as we'll see what these two can do. I like Smooth Bot. A little bit more of a price now, 4-1.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit more value.
Take your shot at 4-1.
I like it. I like it. Jessica and Gabe going with the favorite. Tell Me About It again, who's just in very good form right now. Showed that he had the ability last time out as an 8-year-old too, coming in off the back of that win. As we do see one horse from the second tier in lots of knockups to the outside, and that's kind of the position that we talked about with Charlie May coming up a little bit later on in the Dan Patch. But for more on the Sweet Lou, let's check back in with Gabe and Jessica.
Thanks, Acacia. The Sweet Lou is another condition race here. Tell Me About It was a former Indiana state champ. He's got plenty of back class in with him. He's closing in on $1 million in lifetime earnings. This is probably one of the lowest fields he's had to face.
Yeah, it really is, just plenty of back class here. You know what, on the 3, Tell Me About It. Comes off a convincing win. Comes right back here at the exact same level. And how about this? Jay Cross drove him last time. He did a great job, by the way. Jay, not typically a catch driver, night in, night out here at Hoosier Park. He's just a limited driver. Now you pick up the track's all-time leading driver in Trace Tetrick at the age of 37. Still looking for that first Dan Patch trophy, so look for that a little later on tonight. But this is going to draw all the total attention here to the favorite on this driver change. 6-5 right now. Tell Me About It. That sounds about right.
That is a son of Tell It Like It Is. Alvin Miller is the conditioner, like you had mentioned, the track's all-time leading driver. Trace Tetrick, brother of a guy we usually see on this show. That's Tim Tetrick. Tetrick. He gets post 3 to navigate through tonight. He is the 6-5 favorite on the board. And there's probably a few other horses you could use underneath on your ticket. You like the 10 from the from the second tier, Lots of Nakas out of the Trent Stoller barn. He also comes off of a very convincing win in 50-2.
He did. He was sort of in that other division of the Sweet Lou last week. And the stretch here, Jess, at the 8th mile pole, it opens up. So it sort of allows horses that are caught him inside to pass up the inside. It opens up an extra several feet to give a horse clearance up the inside. That's what Nakas utilized last time, that passing lane at the final 1/8 of a mile. When he got through there, he just burst home, picked up a nice win. It was 30 cents of the dollar, though. Short price. You're getting double digits here on the board at 10-1.
We're getting ready to kick off the show. Race 6 is the Sweet Lou. It is a condition race, a full field of 10. 6-5 on the 3. Tell me about it. We'll send it up to track announcer Michael Chamberlain.
Starting gate is rolling for race 6. 4-5 on Tell Me About It. Field is on gate. They are off. Good beginning for Montana Chief, right up for the lead. Tell Me About It, and then Smooth Bot. Next is Round Here Buzz with Flirtin' JK and Lots of Nakas. Then comes Mustang Beach, Caviar Lotus, Mr. Charisma, and Grigoriev at the back end of the field. As they move on the turn, the leader is Tell Me About It through a quarter of 27 seconds. Montana Chief is second. Then third is Smooth Bot. Round Here Buzz is fourth. After that, Lots of Nakas, and then Flirtin' JK. Mustang Beach is seventh. Eighth is Caviar Lotus. Then Mr. Charisma, and the trailer is Grigoriev. As they continue on to the half-mile pole, Tell Me About It, still the leader. Pocketed second is Montana Chief. Third, Smooth Bot. Fourth, Round Here Buzz. The half was 55-3. The second quarter, 28-3. Moving on to that second turn, Tell Me About It. The 4-5 favorite continues to hold on. Montana Chief. Then Smooth Bot. Lots of Nakas is moving up on the outside of Round Here Buzz. Second over is Flirtin' JK, but that cover is exceedingly loose. And then it's Mustang Beach to the inside. Head of the stretch, headed for home. Three-quarter time, 1:24-1. It's Tell Me About It off the turn, in front by 3 lengths. Lots of Nakas trying to close in on the outside. Montana Chief trying to stay on at the inside. Then a further 3 back to Smooth Bot. Tell Me About It in front, 2.5. Lots of Nakas in pursuit second. Then Montana Chief and Smooth Bot. It's Tell Me About It and Tell Me About It. And Trace Tetrick have won it. Lots of Nakas was second. Then Montana Chief and Smooth Bot in 1:49-3.
Made it exciting coming down to the end. Tell Me About It, who set the pace throughout and had to hold on very late.
Yeah, kind of the same as last week. He went right to the front and never really looked back. Round Here Buzz made a bit of a move, and a couple others. Montana Chief didn't really have much to go with him late. This was Tell Me About It's race to lose.
Certainly was, and aggressively positioned early on, and that seemed to just make all the difference. You did have Lots of Nakas kind of chasing, and there was no catching Tell Me About It, who just got so comfortable there.
Yeah, he really got a bit of a breather down the backside, and then Trace Tetrick, he's done this so many times, and he does it once more with Tell Me About It.
Trace Tetrick, as you heard just mentioned earlier, we talked a lot about a family member of his who's well accomplished, but a mainstay on this circuit. As we see Tell Me About It victorious in the Sweet Lou. Let's go to Gabe and Jess for reaction.
It was Tell Me About It. Usually when horses like that drop down to a level like this, just like he did a couple of starts back, he finally got that perfect confidence-boosting win into him in a nice repeat effort tonight.
Yeah, and Jesse was a big favorite here at 4-5. I think ultimately at the end of the day, as we see it come 3-10-6-2 at our first race on the show tonight. But this is a favorite that looked the best coming in. We mentioned the driver chaser, Trace Tetrick. Trace, by the way, could it be his night? Could it be his first Dan Patch win? He's won the driving title here at Hoosier Park 10 consecutive years for the 37-year-old, but he's won nearly every major strike over the track but the Dan Patch, so he gets things off of the right foot here. But tell me about it. But he just cruises here. He gets all the respect. Really no challengers. No one wanted to take that mission to try and beat themselves up to tackle Tell Me About It there. So he gets a nice, comfortable rating, and he just cruised home here as advertised, we'll call it, as an odds-on favorite.
And a fun fact here as well, both of the Tetrick brothers have not had a Dan Patch win, both Tim and Trace. Tell Me About It returns to the winner's circle as a race favorite in the Sweet Lou in race 6, Acacia.
Big performance from Tell Me About It, and indeed, we'll see if this could be the night for Trace. Gets his picture taken with Tell Me About It, who's still fired up after that win. More after this.
There's a big, bold, beautiful world waiting to be explored by you and your friends, of course. But not just any friends, the best of friends. The kind of friends who let you do you. Because in this world, it's positive vibes only. And when you get in the zone here, you stay a while. These aren't just good times, they're the best of times. And your time is now. So come explore. Resorts World.
Countless individuals have contributed to the success that has made Brittany one of the world's great standard-bred farms. Partners, owners, trainers, drivers, and caretakers, and everyone at the farm who works to achieve the same goal: breeding and raising champions. It's been an amazing journey, and we couldn't have traveled in better company.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you by the Standardbred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania. As our first live race on the program, in the books, the Sweet Lou went to the favorite Tell Me About It, who went off a short price. But Rob, he ran like it. He lived up to the billing.
Yeah, he really did. 380 to win, but you're never really in doubt. There was not really an anxious moment for the backers to Tell Me About It. He really had it all his own way. Pretty nice, impressive performance.
Absolutely. Went to the lead in this 1 mile pace and just dominant throughout. A little bit of a late run from the 10. Lots of Nakas trying to chase late, as to no avail. It was the favorite, the 3 Tell Me About It, with the victory. Trace Tetrick, the driver, went off at 4 to 5, $3.80 winner in the Sweet Lou. As our next race will be the Iron Horse Final, a fun race coming up, as you have a heavy favorite in Major Crocker. No surprise. I mean, this horse has been pretty incredible. 10 for 18 in 2024.
Yeah, he's a millionaire. He's a 14-year-old who's got 70 career wins, What else could you ask for? And every horse in this field he's beaten in the last couple of weeks.
Kind of amazing, too. And Trace Dietrich looking for another one as well. So that's currently your favorite. But again, coming up a little bit later, the reason we're all here, Dan Patch Night over at Harris Hoosier Park. And we've seen some pretty impressive horses winning the Dan Patch in years past. This year, we'll see who gets to add their name to the tally. 5-2 on the morning line is the 3 Buzzsaw Russ. And as I was mentioning earlier, Charlie Weaver said about Russell Beeman, he says he picks the horses and I pick the names, and so here comes Buzzsaw Russ, and so far living up to his namesake.
Yeah, he is a total buzzsaw. We'll see if he can get it when it's more than just the Indiana horses, but this was as impressive as you want to see in an open. He really does everything his own way here. Coach Stefanos is coming behind him, but he's no threat to him here, as he's going to get home and do it comfortably back on July the 26th.
We'll get a chance to rematch with Coach Stefanos as well, who finished second behind Buzzsaw Russ, as you mentioned. Buzzsaw Russ is a horse, as mentioned, who's been so dominant, and he is 4 for 8 in 2024, 12 for 34 lifetime, as we'll get a chance to see what he has to offer coming up a little bit later on in that Dan Patch, as we'll take a little listen to what Jess and Gabe have to say about the Dan Patch coming up. Guys, looking forward to that rematch, and mostly to see what Buzzsaw Russ has to offer in this company.
Yeah, I am too, actually, Acacia, because, you know, there's a lot of really good higher level overnight horses that are home base that are going to take on a few horses that have been racing at the Grand Circuit level, including Rock and Roll Runa. Mark McDonald, Larry Stahlbaum just teamed up in the Sam McKee Memorial at the Meadowlands last weekend at odds of 68 to 1. 147-3 was a new lifetime mark for him. He rode the rail every step of the way, Gabe, to get the job done. And the last 3 times Mark McDonald has driven this fella, he was a winner last time out at 68 to 1. He was second at 39 to 1, and down the program page just a little bit, he was third at odds of 32 to 1.
Yeah, you'll see him sneaking through just along the pylons there with that yellow bridle. 68 to 1. It's safe to say I missed the memo on this one, as did several others, but he just finds a way to slip through there. How about driver Mark McDonald? I asked him a little earlier today, Mark, have you driven at the Dan Patch before? Because I remembered in 2013, he was supposed to be here to drive Bolt the Doer. That was the winner in 2013. Unfortunately, he had to watch that race from the airport, Jess. His flight was canceled. They had to get a regular arrangement in Sam Widger to drive the horse that night, and so we missed out on this one opportunity here to score. The horse won anyway, but Mark, well, he didn't have quite as much luck. We'll see if he can rebound here with Rock and Roll Runa.
You know, it's interesting because I know you had a chance to catch up with Larry last week in the winner's circle, and he says every time I come here, I tell everybody to bet him. He'll be really good on a bigger track, even though he really does enjoy a smaller track. What do you think Mark's going to do tonight? We know he's an aggressive driver off of the gate. I know this horse is going to take money off of being quite sharp coming into the race, but Larry says he's better off of a helmet.
Yeah, I wish you would have bumped into me and told me to bet him last week before that race as well. But, you know, I think the horse is better tracking. You know, the stretch actually opens up, as we mentioned a little earlier here at Hoosier Park. So I think you've got plenty of room. You get that long home stretch over 1,250 feet. So it's almost impossible to get yourself caught in, so to speak, through that stretch drive. So, you know, I think he's going to want to track and work out something similar to pull off a big upset. The problem, Jess, he's not going to be 68 to 1 here tonight.
No, he definitely isn't. He's 7 to 2 on the morning line, and I think he'll take a lot of money coming off of a really sharp effort in the Sam McKee Memorial, as well as, you know, facing that Grand Circuit company. It's a really interesting race. A lot of horses really like to come from off of the pace in this field, and there's a really nice tailwind at the, you know, at their backs coming down the stretch. So it's really helping horses kick home late. It'll be interesting to see how the next couple of races shape up as the sun goes down, getting ready for patch number 31, Acacia.
Yeah, we'll follow how that track is playing. And a good note about the win, Jessica, thank you, as we'll see how those horses do match up a little bit later on in the Dan Patch. A lot more to come. We'll kick off some more live racing after this. Stay with us on America's Day at the Races.
On Friday, September 20th, Harris Hoosier Park will host the 6th edition of the $200,000 Caesars Trotting Classic. Watch live as North America's best trotters participate in Harris Hoosier Park's signature trotting event featuring 9 Grand Circuit races with purses totaling over $1.3 million. Enjoy food trucks, outdoor activities, giveaways, and more as part of our community night at the races. First post for the Caesars Trotting Classic is 6:15 p.m.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at nairabets.com.
We've had a wonderful breeding program here for years.
Pennsylvania has an excellent program. The proof of that is Harrisburg in November. That's a major event for Pennsylvania. We bring in some 6,000 individuals from all over the world. They want to buy Pennsylvania breds.
This is where the top stallions are. A lot of the top mares are here, and between the three major tracks here in Pennsylvania, it's perfect.
Pennsylvania has always been at the forefront, and we want to keep it there.
Basing-Tipton New York bred yearlings, showcasing New York's finest yearlings. Recent grads include Grade 1 winner Therapist and Graded Stakes winner Mo Plex. Plus 2023 New York bred champions Kara's Time, Dr. Ardito, Silver Skillet, and the Wine Steward. This year, over $65 million will be distributed in purse money, incentives, and awards for New York breds. Basing-Tipton New York bred yearlings, August 11th and 12th in Saratoga Springs, New York. Where will you be?
We're back on America's Day at the Races. Dan Patch Night from Harris Hoosier Park. Our program brought to you by Naira Bets. You can bet any track, anytime, anywhere. Get started at nairabets.com or download the app today. Getting treated to a lovely sunset over there as we get ready for the Iron Horse Final. And there is a true Iron Horse, Major Crocker. Rob, he definitely lives up to the name. He is just so cool, so durable, shows up every time.
Yeah, what more could you ask for having a horse like Major Crocker? This is what kind of horse you want to have. Look, he's got 7 races showing in his last 7 races. He's gotten beat once by a nose. Yeah. He beat all 7 of his rivals that he faces tonight. Last time, he's really just the horse to beat here, obviously, and just a cool horse to have as a fan as well.
Yeah, definitely one that's easy to root for. He's 1-5 right now. Going to be the top pick for you?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't try to get too creative.
You have to respect a horse like him, Gabe and Jess. Major Crocker. Let's see if he can pick up another one tonight.
You definitely have to give a lot of respect for the 14-year-old son of Art Major. 10 wins from 18 starts this season, Gabe. It is interesting, too, though. The one loss on his program page the last 7 starts is when he tried to do the work on the front end. Maybe in his older age, he does like to come from off the pace, and that's kind of how things are setting up mostly for tonight.
Well, at the end of the day, he just knows how to get it done, Jess. You do not want to get in a street fight through the stretch, so to speak, with the 7 Major Crocker. Standardbreds face mandatory retirement at the age of 14. So this will be his final season of racing. No, most will find their forever homes much earlier in their careers when they start to maybe lose a step. Major Crocker has lost nothing. As the guys just mentioned, he won 10 races this year alone already. Last year at 13, he won 13 races. 70 of 245, Jess. He is nearly a 30% winner throughout his career, over $1.1 million. That's just amazing to win at that type of clip when you think he's in it against 8 and 9 and 10 horse fields routinely. Last time it looked like he was going to be third through the stretch, and he just outfought the one on the inside of him, the one on the outside of him. It was a gutsy performance, but all of that adding up to a very short price.
The will to win is something that Major Crocker has, and he's been well-traveled as well. He's been on the East Coast and here in the Midwest as well. A very deserving record, like you had mentioned, $1.1 million in the bank. Hoosier Park's all-time leading driver, Trace Tetrick, will make to look at back-to-back behind the favorite in here, Major Crocker. Here's Michael Chamberlain with the call.
Field is on gate. They are off. Fox Valley Sampson and Pocket of Terror the quickest away. You're My Obsession, True Blue Lindy, the favorite. Major Crocker settles in 5th. And then it's Peter Poole, Brandon Hanover, the early trailer Caribbean King. As the field goes on to the first turn, and the leader is Pocket of Terror. Pocket of Terror in front as they pass the quarter in 26 and 4. Fox Valley Sampson races 2nd. You're My Obsession 3rd. After that comes True Blue Lindy. Major Crocker is 5th and about 6 lengths off the lead. Next comes Peter Poole, then Brandon Hanover, and the trailer is still Caribbean King. Single file up the back stretch, and the leader is Pocket of Terror. In the pocket, 2nd is Fox Valley Sampson. Then You're My Obsession and True Blue Lindy. Major Crocker still 5th, and then 6th is Peter Poole. Brandon Hanover and Caribbean King the last two. The half mile 56 seconds. On to the second turn they go. Pocket of Terror leading a length. Fox Valley Samson. Now Major Crocker is coming on first over as up into third. You're My Obsession. Second over out there is Peter Poole. Then True Blue Lindy, Brandon Hanover, and Caribbean King is trailed throughout. Pocket of Terror with Major Crocker right there on the outside now. Fox Valley Samson, Peter Poole, three-quarter time, 1:25 and 3. 29 and 3 third quarter. Pocket of Terror, Major Crocker, Fox Valley Samson to the inside, then Peter Poole looking for somewhere to go is You're My Obsession, now angling out. Pocket of Terror holding off Major Crocker for now. Fox Valley Samson trying to rally through on the inside. Peter Poole, and on the far outside is You're My Obsession, but it is Pocket of Terror who has gone all the way in front to win. Three-way photo for second. Major Crocker, Peter Poole, You're My Obsession, 1:52 and 1.
An upset in the Iron Horse final. It was Pocket of Terror to pick up the victory here as we saw, Rob, another wire-to-wire winner here. Major Crocker just not able to get by.
Yeah, Major Crocker got to him at the head of the lane and he went ahead to do battle, but Pocket of Terror had more in the tank and he pulled off a nice upset victory.
Major Crocker making a little bit of an early move to kind of come to the attack. Obviously, we saw the horse that was setting the pace, holding on to win, so you can understand why Trace Teacher kind of felt the need to make that move, but just didn't really happen in the end.
No, it set up, he had to make the first overmarch and he had to do some work to do it, but he had every right to go by him. He had dead aim on him, and Pocket of Terror was just the better horse tonight.
Gabe and Jess, an upset, but take nothing away from Pocket of Terror, who was very game in this Iron Horse final.
Yeah, he was really game in this final. And Gabe, you know, the front end is holding up a little bit more as the sun decides to go down. The wind is still there, but that was another gate-to-wire victory.
It was. I think he had a nice rating there in the front end. Ultimately, the 14-year-old Major Crocker just had to do a lot of the hard work there, first up on the outside. It ultimately just proved a little too tough tonight for a well-rated front-end steer here of the Wayne Miller aboard Pocket of Terror. Good price on him, 5-1. And as you mentioned, Jess, we'll see if this front-end bias continues. I think the ratings have been nice so far in the first couple of races we've seen so far on the show. So that obviously helps here as well. But a nice breeze they'll have to deal with through this home stretch.
LaWayne Miller makes his way back to the winner's circle in race number 7. Keisha.
4-7-2-5. Major Crocker holding on in that photo finish for second, but it was Pocket of Terror taking them gate to wire in the Iron Horse final. Prices and more when we come back.
Sharton, a repeater in the Lady Liberty in 1:46 and 4. A world record performance. It doesn't get any better than that.
It's still Temporal Hanover. Temporal Hanover will take the field by 3 parts of a length.
Lion Sentinel wins off a ground-saving trip in the She's a Great Lady, and she has set the stakes, track, and Canadian record tonight.
Chosen winners. Breeding champions.
We're back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you by the Standardbred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania. Looks like a good crowd out there tonight. As we see Pocket of Terror move towards the winning circle, let's go to Gabe.
Thanks a lot, Acacia. Standing by here with winning driver Wayne Miller. Pocket of Terror. Wayne, were you surprised how easily you got away on the lead there? Really unpressured throughout most of that mile.
Yeah, he left out of the gate pretty strong, and once I got to the front, he kind of relaxed, settled down, and we got a little breather up the back stretch, and around the last turn, he swelled right back up when they come at him, and he just, he felt good through the wire.
That's a tough customer, Major Crocker, I know, who actually just got by the last time out. You were able to turn the tables tonight. He's never easy to fend off.
No, he's a tough old horse, and he was just very sharp tonight.
Congratulations on the win. A little unseasonably cool here tonight. Got a little breeze. Do you think that's playing into the track conditions so far?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, the wind up it's pretty strong up the backstretch. So, yeah, I think a lot, yeah.
All right, congratulations to Wayne. Good luck the rest of the way. Keisha, we'll send it back to you.
Wayne Miller, driver, Pocket of Terror. Gabe, thank you. $13.60 winner pulling the upset. Major Crocker at 1-2, having to settle for second, but it was a tight photo finish for second there, Rob, as we know that the winner wired. Look at that, though, for the place.
Yeah, look at that tight photo between You're My Obsession and Major Crocker. Even if it's not a win photo, Major Crocker knows to get his nose down in front.
Yes, he definitely knows how to find the wire and get that photo, but Pocket of Terror going gate to wire. And some interesting nuggets there from Wayne in that interview, talking about the temperature and the wind. Maybe something to keep an eye on if that's something you think could be affecting how the track is playing.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes the rest of the night, and as it gets down into sunset over in Indiana. Also, we've got to give a little respect to Pocket of Terror. He is a 10-year-old himself in this career win, number 39.
Pretty impressive, that's for sure. Definitely living up to that Iron Horse name. As we turn the page, we have 1 mile pace for the fillies and mares coming up next in the Zelica, as we'll take a look at Stay Clear, currently the favorite right now, a horse that's 5 for 7 in 2024. This 3-year-old filly, she's been rock solid this year.
Yeah, she's been really good. This only made one start as a 2-year-old. This Stay Hungry filly, she's 5 for 7. And even in defeat last time, she was super impressive. She really got shuffled back. She got stuck behind some slow cover, and she was 3 deep and full of pace late. Anything back to that effort, she's going to be just as very, very tough to beat, but she is going to be an overwhelming favorite in here.
She certainly is. Even money right now is coming up a little bit later on in the Dan Patch. Of course, we're previewing a lot our highlight race of the day. Certainly one that's pretty exciting. And as Gabe and Jess touched on earlier, a lot of really intriguing horses to race in here, including Coach Stefanos, who we did see be second best to Buzzsaw Russ when they met back on July 26th. But this is a horse who's often right there, as he'll try to turn the tables on his main rival.
Yeah, this is going to be his win last time where he comes, and he has no Buzzsaw Russ to deal with last time. But 2 back, we saw the second place effort. He tried some of the graduate series stuff. He was on the fringes. He won one of them. So now he moved out to Indiana getting ready for this. The good second, then the win last week, as you can see him in the middle of the racetrack getting up at 3-5. He's going to look to turn the tables on Buzzsaw Russ tonight.
Makes that big closing move. He will come from off of it as well. Maybe one that, as we've seen horses going gate to wire and maybe having a little bit of trouble closing, one that you'll have to keep an eye on to see if he's going to be able to make that big move that he's known for.
It's interesting. That's 2 horses we've talked about now, Buzzsaw Russ and Coach Stefanos, both want to come from well off the pace. Maybe we need to start looking for a speed horse.
We'll see how it continues to play out. Keep following how the track is playing as we get closer to race 13, the Dan Patch Stakes. Back to the 8th, which is our next order of business here at Harris Hoosier Park. We have the Zelica coming up again. Fillies and mares in the spotlight. Stay Clear, who even when blocked, she seems to be able to find a way to get through and get her nose to the wire in time. She's even money right now. If you're intrigued by anybody else, though, in this field, you'll get some nice prices.
Yeah, if you can find an alternative, you're going to get paid. Certainly can look at horses like Graceful Gala and Odds on Free Roll, who could take a step forward and compete with Stay Clear in here.
Call to post. Fillies and mares. stepping onto the track, and there she is. Stay Clear. She will kick off our post parade. Rob, again, she's been very consistent this year.
Yeah, 5 for 7 this year, the Stay Hungry filly. She's going to be the horse to beat in here. Marvin Luna in the bike.
3 to 5 on the board. Now we've got some price horses as we take a look at Dry Creek Princess.
Yeah, steps up out of the non-winners of one condition, 21 to 1 on the board right now, but should be forwardly placed from the 2 position on the gate.
Lightly raced, stepping forward. Ponda Superb looking for the first win this year.
Yeah, winless this year. She was second last time to Stay Clear. Had a really nice trip. Had everything kind of her own way and just couldn't hold off Stay Clear back on July 20th.
And Pretty Damsel went by. There's Natalie Hill a long shot, and she's a hungry Gigi.
She's a hungry Gigi coming in from Kentucky. See how she stacks up against this field here.
Trace Tetrick in the bike. There's the 7 Graceful Gala.
A winner 2 back. She stepped up into the non-winners of 2 last time. She was 5th at 8 to 1. Kind of an interesting horse in here.
She's 8 to 1 too, getting a little bit of attention into the teeth of that heavy favorite. Odds on Free Roll, a price as is the 9 Miss Hula Dancer.
Miss Hula Dancer was second last time. She actually finished ahead of your 2 to 5 favorite Stay Clear. So if it happened last time, could it happen again?
Yeah, she's 22 to 1. And Genie in a Bottle.
Genie in a Bottle qualified. She's been off. Have not seen her at the races since 2023. We'll see how she comes back.
First start of the year. 2 to 5 though on Stay Clear. Gabe and Jessica, another heavy favorite that on paper looks tough to beat.
It is a very another interesting race that we have in here, Gabe. Like we had mentioned, a couple of horses going gate to wire on the front end back in the last 2 races. This one is going to be another interesting race in here. You're going to use a long shot on the morning line, anyways, from the Irv Miller barn, picking up the other driver, not the other driver, I guess, another drive by Trace Tetrick.
Yeah, it's been Trace Tetrick all the time, Jess, so far here tonight. We saw him win the first couple of races on the show. There's a reason why he's by far here the leading driver at the track. He goes for the second leading trader at the track right now. That's Irv Miller. This one, she's a hungry Gigi, ships back in. She's been on the road. She's been racing down in Kentucky at Oak Grove at the Red Mile. She returns here to Hoosier Park. A daughter, Stay Hungry. I think she's just in against easier company. She's been in some stakes rivals. This is a race for non-winners of 2 races or $30,000 lifetime. So it's just an easier spot for top connections. I'm a little shocked. We don't usually see 14 to 1 on Trace Tetrick teaming up with Irv Miller, but that's what we've got right now. In fact, just click down to 12 to 1, but I will swing with a little long shot here to try and knock off this favorite at the inside. Stay Clear.
You know, the last 3 races have been unappealing on the program page. Do you just really believe that she's going to need to drop down in class to gain that confidence back?
Yeah, I think that's what it's all about. I think she's been overmatched in over her head, so to speak. The track last time she was on there in Lexington was well off. She catches a nice night, a fast track here. So I'm just going to look for a little bit of a bounce back effort. I think the one Stay Clear is a nice filly. Obviously, she's 6 of 8 to begin her career, but she fits here in the money cap. Now, what is a $30,000 lifetime? She typically doesn't race in the lead, Jess, so it'll be interesting to see. We've seen these last 2 races won by front-end horses. We'll see what Marvin Luna has in mind there. Very capable up-and-coming pilot, 22 years old. He's got the assignment there on the one Stay Clear for trainer Trent Stolder. We'll see what he has in mind here, but one thing we know, she's going to be very short price.
Yeah, she's 3 to 5 on the board right now. And one thing I kind of like about this filly is that she was racing very well and finishing her miles strongly before they added Lasix. So she's been, coming into those races before the Lasix addition strong.
Yeah, she has, and it's just exactly the type of progression you'd like to see with the young horse. She's just 3 years old. We only saw her one time as a 2-year-old. That didn't work out. She was completely off the board there, but back 5 of 7. She was beaten last time out. She finished 3rd. There's a short price. Part of that, she had won 4 in a row. All of these starts have come against very similar company as she fits at this level. So I think, she's obviously a very logical horse that fits nicely here into this spot, and post 1 should have plenty of options there and where she wants to get away.
Alvin Miller is looking for another win on the card tonight. He, of course, was a trainer of Tell Me About It. He's got the 3 Ponda Superb. Brett Miller in town, obviously, to drive Charlie May later on in Dan Patch number 31. Post 3 for this filly, another daughter of Tell It Like It Is. She also faced some Indiana Sires eligible horses in a little series there. Didn't have much luck. Had an okay 3rd place finish. Got to drop down to the non-winners to 2 condition level, and it was a game 2nd place last time.
I could make a big case for Jess. She's, as you mentioned, facing some of those stakes company. The only thing I don't like on the 3 Ponda Superb, she's just 1 for 18 in her life. So she's had several chances, including that last start where she took dead aim there off a perfect trip. She actually took over the lead, but for this long home stretch at Hoosier Park, she just gave it up late. It was a good, solid, runner-up effort. Get you Brett Miller from out of town, not one of the typical drivers here at Hoosier Park, but he's in town for the Dan Patch, as you mentioned, so he gets the assignment here. He'll get a start over the track to acclimate, so to speak, with a 3 Ponda Superb. I think if you're looking for horses to try and play against this heavy favorite, obviously Ponda Superb is right there in one of your next top couple of tries.
And a horse you also give a little bit of attention to is the 9 Miss Hula Dancer, Joel Smith, John DeLong. He's another top driver here at Hoosier Park. Coming off back-to-back second-place finishes, much needed confidence going into this race.
Yeah, I think so as well, Jess. And I think her hand's going to be forced from post 9 out there tonight because she does have some early speed. And we know, as we mentioned earlier on the show, post 10 starts in the second tier. So she's in that extreme outside starting spot. I think John DeLong's going to have to put this filly in play early. And I think if she gets out of there and she gets some forward position, that she could parlay that into a close finish. She's up there at 11-1 right now. So I certainly like her in terms of the exotics. I just think she's going to be forced to lead that gate and be part of the early skirmish here to that opening turn.
I want to pick your brain on a horse that you didn't use, but I did, and that's the 4 JN Pretty Damsel. That's coming out of the Irv Miller barn, another filly by Tell It Like It Is. She also is coming off of 2 really good second-place finishes. She got 2 for 12 so far this season, 5 second-place finishes, unraced at the age of 2. So obviously in the beginning of that 3-year-old season, she was gaining her experience. She's on the board right now at 14-1.
It's a good price, interesting filly. Wouldn't shock me. I've certainly seen no worse propositions at 14-1. Irv Miller has several in this race tonight. In fact, 3. He'll have send out numbers 4, 6, and 7. The thing that threw me off the trail, Jess, Mike Oosting was listed on the 4 and 7 for Trader Irv Miller. Once the drivers are listed on multiple horses, they get their option to choose who they want to drive in that particular race. Mike Oosting opted to drive the other Irv Miller tradee. That was a 7 Graceful Gal. Again, that sort of threw me off the trail, maybe a little bit on the 4 J and Pretty Damsel, but a little tougher company. Last time she was in for that claiming tag with the non-winners of 2. It's a little tougher here against the straight non-winners of 2 company tonight, but another long shot that I think could be part of the business here, and what appears to be a bit of a wide-open crapshoot race 8, even behind, if you do like this favorite, Stay Clear.
Marvin Luna gets Stay Clear from the rail to work with. 1-5 for Trent Stoller. A nice field of 10 fillies and mares, non-winners of 2. Harris Hoosier Park, the Zelica. Here's Michael Chamberlain with the call.
Starting gate is rolling for race 8. 1-5 favorite is Stay Clear. Field is on gate. They are off. From the outside, Odds On Free Roll and Miss Hula Dancer. Ponda Superb moves right up 2. Then Stay Clear, Dry Creek Princess 5th. 3 lengths, Genie in a Bottle. Outside that is JN Pretty Damsel. Next is Natalie Hill. And the last 2 are Graceful Gala and She's a Hungry Gigi. On the first turn and in the lead is Odds On Free Roll. Odds On Free Roll through a quarter of 27-2. Second is Ponda Superb, but that's going to change as Ponda Superb moves right up now to take the lead. Stay Clear is third. After that comes Miss Hula Dancer, Dry Creek Princess in the 5th spot. Moving up on the outside is JN Pretty Damsel, then Genie in a Bottle. Also to the wide side is Graceful Gala, then She's a Hungry Gigi and Natalie Hill. They're coming to the half, and it is Ponda Superb and Brett Miller through a half in 57 seconds. Odds On Free Roll is second. The heavy favorite, Stay Clear, is third. And now shifting to the outside to try to rally first over. JN Pretty Damsel and Miss Hula Dancer. After that is Dry Creek Princess with Graceful Gala. 3 further, She's a Hungry Gigi. And then Genie in a Bottle and Natalie Hill. Ponda Superb holding on to the lead, but Stay Clear now has a clear shot at this leader. Odds On Free Roll is third, 3 quarters, 125, 28-second third quarter. Ponda Superb, Stay Clear on the outside. Odds On Free Roll going to try to sneak through to the inside. Then JN Pretty Damsel, and also to the cones is Miss Hula Dancer. Final 1/8 of a mile, Stay Clear now taking over. It's Stay Clear moving away as they move through the lane. Stay Clear in front. Ponda Superb tries to fight back second, but Stay Clear is a clear winner. Ponda Superb was second. Then Odds On Free Roll and Miss Hula Dancer in 151-3.
Stay Clear, living up to her name. The favorite takes the Zelica as Rob, an interesting trip for her, too, because we saw her be closer, perhaps, than usual with that inside draw.
Yeah, she got away well from the rail. She sat in third. She came up first over and just inhaled Ponda Superb, and a good drive by Marvin Luna to get the job done at 1-9.
Heavy favorite getting the job done, but it's also an early move from the 3 Ponda Superb to kind of take over as pace setter, and that one was able to hold on gamely for second. Kind of no movement from the back.
Yeah, nothing really coming from the backfield. Ponda Superb makes that move, trying to maybe steal away from it, take the shot to get away from Stay Clear. She took her shot, but Stay Clear was just much the best.
Stay Clear, living up to that 1-9 billing. Marvin Luna, the driver, as mentioned, she picks up her 6th win of 2024, taking the Zelica for fillies and mares, as Gabe and Jessica saw a favorite get the win, and she did so pretty dominantly.
Yes, she has been pretty dominant as of late. She tied her lifetime mark, 151.3. That was a really nice first over performance after patiently waiting for a little bit of dust to settle on the front end.
Yeah, Marvin Luna did not get anxious at the bike here, Jess. And this margin is going to be a little deceptive at the end of the day. She won it by a couple of lengths. She could have won it, in reality, about as many as she wanted to. She was completely geared down here the lane. A much the best, overpowering winner here in race number 8.
Marvin Luna we'll see later on behind an Andrew Harris trainee. 7 colors. Here he is coming back to the winner's circle with Stay Clear and the Zelica Harris Hoosier Park final. Acacia.
Stay Clear gets the victory. She was impressive. She's been impressive this year. Marvin Luna, the driver for Stay Clear, taking the Zelica. As we'll take a look back after this break at another dominant performance. This one, of course, that's been dominant all year. Carl, who took the 99 Hamiltonian.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at nairabets.com.
Join us at Saratoga Racecourse for the 4th annual New York Thoroughbred Aftercare Day. This special live race day celebrates retired racehorses and fun for the whole family. Free with paid admission on Thursday, August 15th.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Premier Acres, located in northern Indiana, a premier breeding farm with state-of-the-art facilities and a team of dedicated caretakers. An impressive roster with some of the leading sires, including Temporal Hanover, Best in Show, Freaky Feet Pete, and more. Premier Acres, where winners are bred.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
You're watching America's Day at the Races as we just saw Stay Clear take the Zelica as she was driven to victory by Marvin Luna, who's standing by with Jess.
Thanks, Acacia. Marvin Luna gets the job done on Stay Clear. Makes her 6th lifetime win here tonight, tying her lifetime mark. That was a really nice first over performance.
Yeah, she did it very easy. Plug still in. She can do it from anywhere, from off the pace. She prefers from off the pace, but she can also do it from the front end. So she's a very nice mare.
You've been having some really nice success here at Hoosier Park. What year is this driving here for you?
This is only my 2nd year, but this is my 2nd year full time. So first year full time. So last year I started very late. So this is I consider this my first year full time.
You have the drive-by in 7 colors tonight. Andrew Harris, trainee. What can you tell us about coming into a big race like this and Dan Patch?
Well, I'm excited, first of all. Probably my biggest race that I'm going to be in. And I've seen a couple of his replays. He seems okay, and I'm sure Andrew Harris will give me the rundown too, so I'm excited.
In your opinion, how is the track playing tonight? We've seen a couple of gate-to-wire wins, but a few of them have been really benefiting from that tailwind.
Yeah, that's kind of why I prefer to come in from off the pace with that mirror earlier today. But I think we can do it from either way, up close or from the back. But yeah, there's definitely a tailwind, and I think it's going to be an exciting race.
We wish you the best of luck, Marvin.
Thank you.
Marvin Luna wins again here and is going to be behind 7 colors in patch number 31, Acacia.
See what he can do a little bit later on, Jess. Thank you. But he had a nice victory here with Stay Clear, 22-year-old Marvin Luna, who just began driving in 2020. But you heard he said to Jess in that interview, doing really well over at Hoosier. We saw it right there with the favorite.
Yeah, that was a good drive. He might only be 22 years old, but that was a 42-year-old drive right there. A beautiful effort by Marvin Luna. It's easy to drive favorites sometimes,
right,
but it's also really tough to drive favorites, and he did a good job there on Stay Clear.
Extra pressure as well. Want to make sure they're in the right spot. As you mentioned, versatility with Stay Clear certainly was to his benefit, as the 9th will be a 1-mile trot. The Grosse Pointe coming up as we take a look at Drink Up at 4 to 5. Marvin Luna again. Speaking of driving a favorite,
yeah,
got another chance to do just that.
Looking to get both halves of the double in there. Drink Up, a deserving favorite. Shipped in last time, came in and was 4th, only beaten 3/4 of a length. Very logical favorite in here. He's got a little bit of competition from a couple of girls, though, in here. We'll see what happens in the Grosse Pointe.
Yeah, some talented mares in this group as well. More on that 9th race in a moment. But as we mentioned before the break, obviously Dan Patch night tonight, a big race in standardbred racing, but arguably the biggest, the Hamiltonian, the most iconic. And we saw that back, was it only just a week ago now? Feels like so much longer ago. The Hamiltonian in a downpour, but Carl would not be denied. Made amends for a disappointing defeat that we had seen from him coming into this, Rob, and he lived up to the billing that we saw from him very early in the year.
Yeah, he lived up to the hype, and Yannick Gingras gets him up in time to win the Hamiltonian. There were some tedious moments, and then all of a sudden he kicks it into gear. What an impressive performance by a very impressive trotting 3-year-old.
And one of the cool things, I loved the celebration from Yannick as well at the wire. It looked like he was ready to lasso somebody as celebrating with that Hambo victory. Just goes to show you just how special, meaningful races like that are.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal for him. His first win in the Hamiltonian, and we'll see if he can double it up and win the Dan Patch tonight as he's driving El Rey. But what a win for Carl, and he's really had kind of things go against him, and in the driving rainstorm, he got it done.
He certainly did. Gabe and Jessica still with us, as guys, I know you were there in that deluge for the Hamiltonian, but Carl not be denied. And just as we said, the Hamiltonian, just such an iconic and meaningful race to win.
It really is. It's America's Trotting Classic. It's the Kentucky Derby of harness racing. It's a bit drier tonight, though, Gabe.
Yes, this feels much better than the Hamiltonian day. Not quite as warm and definitely not quite as wet.
Yes, and just to go back to Carl, there was a lot of pressure on the line for him to get the job done here. Not only for, all of the connections with the horse himself, and he got Yannick Gingras, Hamiltonian at #1. He finally got the monkey off his back.
Yeah, and it was great to see Yannick, the 4th all-time money-leading driver in the history of harness racing. Jess, he's a Hall of Famer, and you saw that emotion there as he crossed the line. This one meant a lot to him. All that pressure, you come into a race on the favorite. Yannick's had so many near misses. He's driven some favorites in the race in the past. You see him there with his family. It was just a great time despite the rain after the race. And, you just saw that emotion come out there when Carl got it done. He finally had a close one go his way for once. It was great to see. I actually caught up with him a little bit after the Hamiltonian that night, and I said, are you more in a celebration mode? Is it more of a relief? And he said, honestly, it's a little more of a relief. He said, the top of the stretch, I thought maybe another one was going to get away from me, but ultimately it was Carl who stepped up and got it done in the late stages.
And, it really wasn't in ideal weather conditions either. And each horse on the racetrack obviously had to go through those weather conditions. But like we were sitting there, it was raining on the far turn as they were going to the gate, and there were some, tepid fractions on the front end, and it was just really nice to see that horse do what champions do best and to fight to get the job done.
Yeah, he really did. Despite the conditions and all of the above, it was really a good drive by Yannick because all the pressure.
Yes.
Most people expected him to be overly aggressive there with post one. He decided to sit back. The trip worked out perfectly. Got to follow cover. You talk about the durability of standardbreds, Jess. Carl, who raced last Saturday up at the Meadowlands, the Hamiltonian there, of course, with that win. He's already arrived in Lexington. He's back in to go this Tuesday. So about a week and a half after his Hamiltonian win, he's in an $80,000 stakes race at the Red Mile on Tuesday afternoon.
Nancy Tactor was able to take back-to-back Hamiltonians. Tactical Approach, Carl, both sired by Tactical Landing, who was trained by her father. Jimmy Tactor, he was the last one to do that, to take home back-to-back Hamiltonians in 14 and 15. Of course, co-owner and breeder Crawford Farms, they had won 2 prior Hamiltonians, but with fillies, Atlanta and Ramona Hill. Now they get a colt to add to their trophy
Crawford
case.
Farms, 3 of the last 7 Hambos. In fact, you mentioned all the success the team Tactor has had in the Hamiltonian. Both Nancy now and her father, of course, just over throughout the decades. But all class, those connections, great to see. He's really a true champion, and we're looking so forward to seeing him continue to march forward here in this 3-year-old season.
Yes, we are. Plenty of big races left in the standardbred world. Really looking forward to seeing him down in Lexington in Kentucky. He's such a beautiful horse. There's just no other word to describe it.
He really is. I went and visited him in his stall when he arrived yesterday. It was great to see. He's got that white blaze and just, he almost looks around like he knows that he's got it going on. He loves the attention. He'll stand there all day, the connections say. He was probably in that Hamiltonian winner circle, even in a complete downpour, probably as long as any horse I've ever seen on Hamiltonian Day, but it made no difference. He just loved the attention, loved the atmosphere, and he's just rolling.
Yeah, he definitely loved the attention, and that's what Nancy said. Sometimes when horses are visited all week long, it's a little stressful on them, and he handled it like an absolute pro, and he handled the torrential downpour like an absolute pro. It is a Hamiltonian that we definitely will not forget, Acacia.
That's for sure, and well done by both of you with that Hamiltonian coverage that took place during our Whitney coverage here at Saratoga on the thoroughbred side. But Rob, as we have a race coming up, but we'll just quickly talk about the durability of standardbreds. It's so cool to see how they race frequently, that they handle everything that comes at them, and Carl, perfect example of that.
Yeah, what a fun little nugget there from Gabe, talking about him standing in the winner's circle. He knows he's a star. He's hamming it all up, even in the pouring rain. He just wanted his affection.
And he's well deserving of it, as we see the post parade going for the Grosse Pointe. And there is your favorite right on cue. Drink up, the 3.
Yeah, Marvin Luna looking for back-to-back wins. Coming in off a good fourth-place effort. He's a deserving favorite in here. I think he's got a big shot.
Yannick Gingras got his Hamiltonian. He'll be driving this horse, the 4 Country Dagger.
Yeah, coming off a bit of a dirty line last time. Was coming in from Kentucky. Looking to get back on form here, though. Might have a shot, though.
Triathlon went by. The 6 is out. Here's the 7, Renegade Gypsy.
Coming off a scratch line, was second, 2 back. 1 back on the line in a lower class. This is going to be a bit of a step up for Renegade Gypsy.
That was the 8, Show Me a Million, going by. Here is the 8, Just Making You Look. And the 7, Swing for the Fences. I'm sorry, the 10, Swing for the Fences.
Yeah,
27-1.
We'll see what Swing for the Fences does. Maybe he is going to take a shot at it from the outside. Might see some good gate speed and take a swing at it from the outside.
See what you did there. Could live up to his name at 27-1. There is a look at the 5 Triathlon as this horse was defeated as the favorite last time out, but one who will look to come from off the pace again, taking some attention into the face of that heavy favorite, Drink Up, Drink Up.
Yeah, she did a lot of work last week on August the 3rd. Thought it was a good effort at 4-5, just not victorious, beaten 3/4 of a length. I thought it was interesting. You've got the 2 mares that have seen each other before. E.R. Kelly down on the inside. Between her and we're taking a look now at Country Dagger, another one that was coming out of that race with Triathlon as last time. You can totally throw that race out, but he was 18-1. She was 4-5. Now today they're 3-2 and 9-2.
Triathlon as getting all the attention right now. Actually going to be Gabe's top pick as well. But you mentioned there's actually 3 mares in this field. The 1, E.R. Kelly, the 5, Triathlon as, and the 9, Just Making You Look. And they will take on the males in this spot. But these are some very tough mares.
Yeah, no, they've been in with them most of the summer here, and they've held their own. And Triathlon as is the 8-5 favorite, and she's very deserving of that.
Yes, she is. Been rather consistent as well, as we check in with Gabe and Jessica.
Race 9 is an interesting field of horses like Acacia was talking about, Gabe. It's a nice full field of 10. You land on the 5 at 8 to 5. Excuse me, that's a field of 9 with the scratch in there. Triathlon Oz. Brandon Bates in the bike. This horse has been consistently racing at the open level, dropped down to the open 3. Last time out, had to make a few moves there and just got beat.
Yeah, thought she raced well. It's an easier spot here tonight for her. As Acacia mentioned, one of 3 mares here in the field. You know, some of these upper levels, they can't fill the classes with only mares. So she has to race against the boys most of the time. Typically, Jess, it does not matter. She made over $100,000 last season. She's not only one of 3 mares, she's also the elder statesman in the field. She's the oldest here, going behind the gate and race number 9 at 7 years old. She's going to take a lot of play here at 8 to 5. How about her ticket? Her driver, Brandon Bates, known as Big Ticket Bates, because of his propensity to pull off some major upsets. Well, it won't be an upset if he wins here aboard Triathlon Oz. I think she's a deserving favorite. She continues to get a lot of attention up there on the board.
Another horse taking a lot of deserving money is Drink Up, post 3 for him tonight. This is a son of Trixton. Marvin Luna in the bike, coming out of the Open 1, Open 2 here at Hoosier Park, was down in Lexington a few starts back. Just a horse that's been a little unlucky the last couple of starts. To show a win down at Oak Grove in the 4-year-old Kentucky Sire Stakes.
Yeah, and Marvin does a great job of the bike. A great job catching up with him there after that win of the last race. This one missed just a quarter of a length last out, just at 27 to 1. Now get some class relief. A 4-year-old, he made over $50,000 last year at the age of 3. He's already having a better season here at 4. He's made over $67,000. A class relief for this guy tonight as well. I think he figures here, obviously up there on the board at 2 to 1.
Country Dagger is another mare in the race. She's been battling with some braking issues.
Yeah, that's the thing. No, I know a lot of this play. She's up there at 5 to 1 from post number 4. A driver, Yannick Gingras, of course, not a Hoosier regular, one of the nation's top drivers in town tonight. So I know that's driving a lot of the action. Country Dagger's the type of horse, Jess, I wouldn't mind to take a shot on. If he was 8 or 10 to 1, you were getting fair value. I just think 9 to 2 is a little light. I think they're overreacting to this driver change on Country Dagger. This was one that I would have to make show me at that short of a number.
I would have to agree with you there. I think maybe, getting the switch to Yannick is attracting a lot more money than should be. 1 for 11 so far in the season. Needs to be flat, needs to have a flat line in this race to definitely get a piece of it.
And yeah, a lot of times when they come off those breaks in stride, when they lose their stride of the trot, just the driver has to be a little conservative because you don't want to have to make back-to-back breaks in stride. Then you're forced to qualify. So that's the key here. We'll see how conservative Yannick is as we send it upstairs to Michael Chamberlain for the call of race number 9.
On Oz. Field is on gate. They are off. Good beginning for Drink Up. Country Dagger is right there too. Then Triathlon Oz. After that is E.R. Kelly to the inside. Show Me a Million to the far outside. Then Renegade Gypsy with Brookview Darius. Swing for the Fences. And Just Making You Look is the early trailer. On the turn and in the lead is Country Dagger through a quarter mile of 27 seconds. Drink Up is next in second. After that comes E.R. Kelly. Triathlon Oz races fourth. Next is Brookview Darius. Show Me a Million to the outside. And then it's Renegade Gypsy. The last 2 are Swing for the Fences and Just Making You Look. As they continue to the half mile, it is Country Dagger and Yannick Gingras in front. Second is Drink Up. Now moving up on the outside, Show Me a Million as they pass the half in 57-1, a second quarter of 30-1. Country Dagger the leader, Show Me a Million second at big odds. Drink Up is third. Then E.R. Kelly second over to the outside, Brookview Darius. Third over out there is Renegade Gypsy. Next is Triathlon Oz, who is pinned in down to the inside. And Just Making You Look and Swing for the Fences, the trailing 2. Country Dagger, Show Me a Million, Drink Up. Then E.R. Kelly as the field enters the stretch. 3 quarters, 126-4. 29-3 third quarter. It's Country Dagger with the lead. Country Dagger in front. Drink Up has angled out now and is moving up from second. Here comes Drink Up to take the lead. Country Dagger, then E.R. Kelly. In between horses is Triathlon Oz. It's Drink Up, and that will be back-to-back winners for driver Marvin Luna tonight. Drink Up by 5. Country Dagger second, Triathlon Oz, then E.R. Kelly, 153-3.
Marvin Luna having himself a very good night. Still has 7 colors to come in the Dan Patch a little bit later on, but sat kind of in the perfect spot there with Drink Up.
couldn't have asked for a better one there from Drink Up, Drink Up. It's actually probably debatable whether Drink Up, or Stay Clear was easier there.
Yeah.
But he could have went by at any time. He could have won by as many lengths as he wanted. A really nice setup, and Marvin Luna couldn't have asked for any more from this 4-year-old son of Trixton.
The pace was set by Yannick Gingras and Country Dagger trying to steal things on the front end, but Drink Up just kind of biding his time. And very early on, you could see the horse wanted to go a little bit more, but Marvin Luna kind of taking him back, settling him, keeping patient, and it paid off when it counted.
Yeah, he had lots for the stretch drive, Marvin Luna, with a good drive there, and it helped. A couple of the big foes got themselves into some trouble. Triathlon Ads got locked in, got shuffled a little bit. Not her night. We'll have to see her dance another dance next week.
Drink Up gets the win, though. Gabe and Jessica still with us. And guys, Marvin Luna on a roll here tonight.
Yes, he is, Acacia. And that was a perfect patient pocket trip by Marvin, Gabe.
It really was. If they were all that easy, Jess, as
Right.
Marvin's picked up the last couple of races, he's going to be the sport's all-time leading driver before it's over. He had this one well spotted. Just cruised home, just as we saw him doing there the 8th race of the night. Marvin Luna was the leading driver here at Hoosier Park for the first couple of months in this meet that started back in April. That's no easy assignment when you have Trace Teacher, the 10 consecutive time leading dash driver. So Marvin's done good work. He's just behind Trace down the standings, but he continues to impress here at the young age of 22. And as you said, this one just could not have been any easier. Interesting to see Yannick Gingras take an aggressive shot there with Country Dagger. He tried that guy on the front end, did all he could do. It was a nice rated effort, no pressure, but he just ultimately couldn't fend off the perfect trip there from Drink Up.
It's really nice on a stakes like this, Gabe, when drivers can get a couple of wins under their belt before the big one. That's what Marvin Luna has done. He's gone back-to-back the last two. We'll send it back to you guys.
Yeah, he's feeling good now and has the good energy going into the big one a little bit later on. And we'll see what's waiting in the wings. Dan Patch Night continues. More live racing after this.
You have to be here to feel the rumble from 40,000 race fans. Mixed with the Pacific breeze, you have to be here to taste extravagance and witness greatness, race after race after race. You have to be here to take home a memory you'll have forever. This November, when the world's best come to Del Mar, you have to be here.
Serving others is our foundation. That's why NYRA is building a pathway for businesses, individuals, and organizations to support charitable groups connected to horse racing in New York State and beyond. The NYRA Foundation, supporting our community.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you by the Standardbred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania. The Grosse Pointe in the books. This 1 mile trot went to drink up. I wonder if saw some hunch bets on that, for some people having a good night.
Yeah. What else would you prefer on a Saturday night? I'm sure there's a couple of people who are very happy to go buy themselves a drink and drink up.
That's right.
Drink up.
$6.40 winner, perfect drive from Marvin Luna, who wins back-to-back races at Harris Hoosier Park tonight. Country Dagger, the pace setter, settling for second. 3, 4, 5 right in a row there in the 9th. As next on tap will be the Joe Patch and a 1 mile pace coming up in the 10th race, as we'll take a look at the field non-winners of 2, and we see who's coming up here. And currently the number 7 Premier Romeo is the favorite at the moment. A horse that's kind of been knocking on the door. 2 for 11 this year.
Yeah, I thought he was an interesting player coming out of some of the Indiana Sire Stakes legs. I think he's got a good chance. He's drawn a little bit further outside, but he's probably the horse to beat in here in my mind. I think he's got a big shot, this 3-year-old gelding, son of Rock and Image.
Of course, though, coming up a little bit later on in the 13th race will be the Dan Patch, as we get a chance to learn a little bit more about some of the storylines and some of the connections involved in that race. We'll go to Jess with a special guest.
Thanks, guys. Standing by with trainer Andrew Harris. Andrew, you have 2 horses coming into the Dan Patch tonight. First and foremost, both of them being 4-year-olds. Just maybe talk about the transition from 3 to 4 and taking on those older horses.
I think it's tough for some of them. Now, you get some that are just handle it and they just step up and they have no issues with it at all. I see Buzzsaw Russ is racing great, but I think El Rey's actually handled it much better than 7 Colors. 7 Colors seems like he's had a little bit more issues with it and stuff like that, where he's been more of a horse that's bullied his way through his races at 3, and this year he can't really bully his way. He's got to be tripped out a little bit more or get to the front and that type of thing, where he was kind of given the front last year. This year he's got to work for it a little bit harder. Now, El Rey seems like he's kind of stepped up and he's been able to handle however they drive him. So it's just the individual horse tells you everything that you got to know.
Let's start with El Rey, Hall of Famer Yannick Gingras on the bike, coming off of a win in the Kentucky Sire Stakes. He took a different route than 7 Colors earlier on in the season. He's got the rail tonight. What can you tell us about him?
I actually think that's one of his first wins in his whole life on the front, so that tells you how sharp he is right now. He's never ever really won on the front. Everything for him has usually been chasing, but he loves this track. Actually, he won the Breeders' Crown Elim here last year as a 3-year-old. He came first up and raced real good. The way the track's playing tonight might suit him a little bit. He likes to come from off of it a little bit. So I think that he's got a real big shot with Yannick on him, and I'm thrilled that Yannick came out for him, and I can't thank Yannick enough for coming out for him.
You have post 8 with 7 Colors, a hometown guy, maybe an up-and-coming driver, and Marvin Luna. This guy has 1 win on the season back in the Graduate Series. That's the route you took with him. What can you tell us about him coming into the race tonight?
I'm actually super happy with the way he is now. He got sick on us. We did some traveling to Canada, and he came back, and he just wasn't right, and we're trying to chase him, and we just kind of backed off on him, gave him 3 weeks, and let him get over his stuff, and now he seems like he's good. Last week he got ducked, and Dex didn't get him put in play, just left him in and never pulled his earplugs or anything like that. And he's actually coming into the race very sharp right now, so I'm kind of happy with him, and I'm thrilled for Marvin Luna to get a shot like this. He's a young kid who's hungry, and I think he'll do a good job with him.
It's a wide-open patch event here tonight.
Oh, very wide open. I mean, I think any one of these 10 horses could get there. And the one horse that I don't hear anyone talking about, and he's a big money horse, Charlie May. Every time there's a big race, it seems like Charlie May steps up, and I don't know why more people aren't talking about that one, but he always scares me whenever I race against him.
We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
Jess, thank you. Some great insight from trainer Andrew Harris, who is represented by 2. We've been talking about Marvin Luna a lot tonight, and he is going to be driving 7 Colors, who will look to take a big step forward, and he does. He has to take a step forward against this group, but I liked what he said, a young driver that's hungry and getting a big opportunity in a big race like this.
Yeah, it's good to see him get a shot here, and it's interesting what Andrew said. He was 7 Colors is taking that step forward. We're going to kind of get him as a measuring stick tonight and see what he measures up against this group. It's a tough field. It's an interesting group that way, though, so we'll see what happens here with 7 Colors. Marvin Luna getting that chance. I think he's an interesting long shot, though.
He is, as he is 12 to 1 on the morning line. El Rey draws the rail. Yannick Gingras going to be in the bike, as you heard Andrew talking about. Likely will be forward from the inside as well. And I just have to say, I really enjoyed watching El Rey just attack that hay net.
Yeah, no, I was jealous of that. He was definitely hungry coming off the getting ready for tonight. So El Rey, I think,
Yeah.
very interesting horse, and it's a nice 1-2 punch for Andrew Harris.
Yeah, you love to get a chance to see some of those horses and their personalities in their element. But Jess and Gabe still with us. Great insight from Andrew, Jess, and a couple of intriguing chances in tonight's race.
Yes, a lot of intriguing chances in it tonight's race. We just had a chance to catch up with Andrew Harris on his 2 entrants coming into the race tonight, both being 4-year-olds. Like you had mentioned, 7 of the 10 being 4-year-olds coming into the race. And both of them took different paths. I thought that was very interesting. Of course, 7 Colors got sick there a little bit. You just mentioned to me they've had him a full year now. So I think that's an interesting, nice little stat there. They bought El Rey, too, not that long after.
Yeah, and Andrew's looking there. He's got a couple of owners that don't mind to put up the
Right.
big bucks and spend it on and buying horses privately. As you said, just 7 Colors they purchased right at a year ago because their first start with them was in the Millstein at Northfield last year. That's tomorrow night. So then they broke out in that performance with the winning effort. They ultimately went on to give him a chance in the Little Brown Jug. He came up just short. He's been a very good horse for them. So I like to see those guys that, put up the big bucks. They don't mind to gamble a little, so to speak, and they've been paid off here with the efforts of some of these horses, including 7 Colors.
Yes, they have. They've definitely put their money where their mouth is, where a lot of people, I guess, don't nowadays. But another interesting thing here, not too long ago, there was a big Indiana 3 battling it out. Freaky Feet P, Always Be Mickey, and Wiggle It Jiglet. Wiggle It Jiglet came out on top that night. And now you got the big 3 that kind of battled all season long last year. That's Buzzsaw Russ, Why Not Now, and Coach Stefanos. And I think an interesting fact in here is Why Not Now is a barn change to Tyler George.
Yeah, that's going to be the wild card. He comes into this race maybe a little bit dull. He's 15-1 in the morning line, but he debuts here for the highest percentage outfit on the entire ground. Trainer Tyler George, we'll see if he can step back up, sort of find some of that old back class. This is the horse that battled with the other 2, Jess. Last year, been over $600,000 right here in the state of Indiana primarily. So we know he's got the ability. I still think a little bit of a stretch. I don't think, this short of a time. He just raced for his old barn 6 days ago. So new trainer Tyler George, he hasn't had him that long. The other 2, Buzzsaw Russ and Coach Stefanos, let's just say they know each other. They started their careers. They debuted against each other. This will be their 20th meeting tonight, just the 20th time the 3 Buzzsaw Russ and Coach Stefanos have gone behind the gate together. Now, keep in mind, they've only raced 30-some times, so about 2/3 of their starts, they've both been in the same field. Right now, Coach Stefanos holds a 12-7 lead over Buzzsaw Russ in that department when they're heads up against each other.
And not to mention, Why Not Now was the Progress Pace winner at Dover Downs, a Grand Circuit event, facing the best 3-year-olds in the country last season. It's going to be a good one. It's a very interesting one. But for now, we'll send it back to the desk and get race number 10 underway.
Heard the call to post for the 10th, the Joe Patchen, a 1-mile pace as we saw the first couple go by. Continuing on our post parade, there with the 4, GW Striker.
Yeah, coming out of one of the Indiana Sire races, bit of a long shot here for Ricky McComber Jr.
Of course, taking some attention, bit of bitter butter.
Say that 3 times
I
fast.
know.
A second 2 back, 4th last time. I think a bit of a player here, though. You're getting a nice 5-1.
Yannick Gingras in the bike, always pay attention. There's Captain Nashville.
Yeah, 3rd last time. You get Yannick Gingras, big shot here. He's taking a lot of money off that 12-1 morning line.
And here's the favorite, the horse coming out of all those Sire Stakes, Premier Romeo.
3rd last time, 2nd time before that. Maybe a little bit of a drop, you could even argue. I think a deserving favorite here, Kyle Wilfong in the bike.
Goodness Gracious, who naturally is a gray.
Yeah, big win last time at 7-1. Might get someone similar today. Michael Oosting does get the drive here. Another one with a shot from one of the outside posts.
JBS Cup at Joe went by. There's the 10, A New Endeavor.
Winner last time. He's actually won 3 of his last 4. Always well respected. From that trailing position, big shot here.
And Dustin the Others. Big price on the outside.
Yep, second trailer here, so we'll have to see how the trips will work out. 11 horses going behind the gate.
That's right, big field coming up here, about 3 minutes away from the Joe Patchen. So we'll take a look at Goodness Gracious. This is back on August 2nd, as this is a horse who got the win there, and like I said, lives up to his name, this great 3-year-old colt.
Yeah, and he's looking for a little bit of racing room. He's down there on the rail, and he's going to come surging through here. So Goodness Gracious, 7-1 drive here by Michael Oosting, and you see him finally find some racetrack, and he's going to eat it up, getting up in time here. So very nice effort, and if he can duplicate that, he's going to be a big contender.
Kind of has that sit and pounce style that we saw even in the last race too. We'll see if he can do exactly that again. Goodness gracious, and has the benefit of, yes, he is one that comes from off of it, but doesn't need to be too far back.
No, from the outside, we'll have to see what he's going to be able to do, if he can kind of make his own trip a little bit. But he's certainly a player in here, and off that effort, you got to give him a lot of respect.
Premier Romeo, though, continuing to be your favorite, and I think in large part have to emphasize it's just the class of what he's been facing.
Yeah, it really is. I think you could certainly argue it's a step, a little bit of a drop for him. He's been a while since he's found the winner's circle, and maybe tonight gets him back in, but you always got to be a little bit worried about a horse that's camera shy.
Top pick for you?
I'm one of the 7 Premier Romeo. I think this is his time to get it done. 9-5, I'll take it.
See if his day to shine. A little bit of a more wide open board than we've seen, though. Oh, but Gabe and Jessica, 7s are wild here. Everybody is on Premier Romeo to get the win today.
Yes, we all are on Premier Romeo. Really coming into the race well, Gabe, and it's a very a very good duo here, I guess you could say. Kyle Wilfong teaming up with Jay Hostetler. They actually teamed up last year to win the Dan Patch with Ponda Warrior.
Yeah, he was also a rocket image as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what I like to see, Jess, when I'm sitting down at a slot machine, by the way. 777 that we just saw on that screen. Let's hope it's the case. This guy's been in against Stakes Company his last 5 tries. I've been against some of the best 3-year-old colts here in the state of Indiana. In reality, this is a big dip down in class. It's a non-winners of 3 races lifetime for him. But this guy only 2 for 21. But he's made over $133,000. Most of his starts have come against much better company. I just think it's a big dip down here for him tonight. His lifetime earnings are well over 6 figures. That easily trumps all of his other rivals in here. In fact, I'm a little shocked that we get to see that 9-5 price. Again, he comes off 3 consecutive starts, not only where he was racing against Stakes Company, where he hit the board 2 seconds and a third. So it's not like he's in bad form arriving at tonight. He gets that much-needed class relief. I just think all signs point to the 7 here, Premier Romeo.
The 5 Bit of Bitter Butter, say that 10 times fast, is coming off of a 4th place finish, but prior to that, a nice 2nd, 3rd, and win. A couple of trailing position posts, as you can see in a non-winners. The 2-face Indiana Sire Stake eligible horses, a couple of starts back, and even last time out, only 2 for 15 lifetime. This is the daughter of Freaky Feet Pete.
Yeah, we saw him here, of course, many times based in Indiana. Freaky Feet Pete, great to see him having some success as a stallion as well. I think Brandon Bates is going to be aggressive here in the bike with the 5 Bit of Bitter Butter. The last couple of times Jesse's raced in this class, he was second, beat a neck. He also picked up a win in this class, so he fits nicely. Maybe this is a little bit deeper than we see this class at some times, but I still think he'll be aggressive. I think he'll be out there and get forwardly placed with the 5 with that good mid-pack posture. He's 4-1. That sounds about right.
A New Endeavor gets a trailing position to work with. John DeLong in the bike for Charlie Stewart, unraced at the age of 2. Do you think 9-2 is a fair price on this one?
I do, Jess. This was actually the morning line favorite from one of 2 trailers in this race. In fact, with the 11 starters, A New Endeavor comes off that wedding effort. No, he's lightly raced compared to his rivals here. He's just 5 of 7, so there's those 7 career starts. But he comes off a lifetime best performance, just 150-3, and he was racing against some older company there. That was a winner race nominators of so much money over the last 4 starts. So typically you can hook some of the older and more grizzled veterans there. I thought it was a nice win for the 3-year-old. So, he continues to prove that he can step up, at a short price. You don't want to steer away from him. We see him up there at 7-2, though, right now, as he did just click down. But this guy has a major chance, and that is a little bit of an overplay in my mind.
You mentioned facing older last time out. The 3rd place finisher in that race was Rock the Devil, and that was a mid-level condition horse that we see at the Meadowlands all the time, who's a hard-knocking horse as well. Very sharp, and definitely a horse that likes to track horses down.
Yeah, he really does. He's got a steady range, but here, Jess, John DeLong, 35 years old, one of the top drivers here annually at Hoosier Park. He's based right here in Indiana. He'll have that morning line favorite we know a little bit later tonight in that Dan Patch feature with Buzzsaw Russ. For now, he'll try to get one on the board from the 2nd tier with A New Endeavor.
Michael Oosting, if he was upset in the Dan Patch, he'd be the oldest driver to win the Dan Patch at the age of 62. He's coming into this race with goodness gracious post 8 for Darla Gaskin, coming off of a very nice, another off the pace win. Looked like this one saved ground though.
Yeah, cool looking colt here. The Aegis, a gray colt, and we talk about how long this stretch is at Hoosier Park. So he took a bad shuffle last time. Turning for home, he was absolutely buried at the inside, sort of 3rd there at the inside. When the stretch opened up, he just split split through horses. He got it done. A nice 7-1 upset there, and that was against maybe what you could argue at least as tough a company as he faces here tonight. 6-1. He'll have to find a way to get involved in the race. You don't want to get away far back here. 2 trailers. That's the problem, Jess, because if you take back, you might be behind them as well. Could put himself, in 10th or 11th, the early stages. That might just be a little bit too big of a mountain to overcome.
You don't want to get too much traffic into that first turn. Luckily here at Hoosier, you kind of start a little bit ahead of that first turn there. Even money on the 7 Premier Romeo. Kyle Wilflong aboard for Jay Hochstetler. We will see Kyle, of course, later on, and Dan Patch, number 31, behind Duncan. Of course, he was the upset winner last year behind Pondo Wario. We'll send it up to the announcer here at Hoosier Park, Michael Chamberlain.
Starting gate is rolling for race 10. 6-5 on Premier Romeo. Field is on gate. They are off. And moving up quickly is Premier Romeo, GW Striker, and Bit of Bitter Butter. Also forwardly positioned is Prestigious Prince, and then the gray Goodness Gracious is up on the outside. Jackie Boy, followed by Captain Nashville as the field goes on to that first turn. And moving up on the inside is A New Endeavor, which puts Captain Nashville back in 8th. 9th is Tell It Like I See It. The last 2 are Dust and the Others and JB's Cup of Joe. The first quarter was 26-2. Goodness Gracious moves up on the outside of Premier Romeo, and Goodness Gracious is now the leader. Racing third is Bit of Bitter Butter. GW Striker is next 4th. After that is Prestigious Prince with A New Endeavor making progress on the outside. Jackie Boy is next with Captain Nashville. 3 further lengths, Tell It Like I See It, and another 2 off to the last 2, Dust and the Others and JB's Cup of Joe. Halftime, 54-3. Second quarter time, 28-1. Moving on the second turn, it's Goodness Gracious. Premier Romeo, A New Endeavor is there third up on the outside. Bit of Bitter Butter, and also wide is Captain Nashville. Head of the stretch, headed for home. 3 quarters, 1:23-4. 29-1 third quarter, and A New Endeavor is right with Goodness Gracious. Premier Romeo is moving to the outside to try to get a rally going. Trying to come through at the inside is Bit of Bitter Butter. A New Endeavor now has taken the lead. Goodness Gracious, Premier Romeo trying to advance here on the outside. It's A New Endeavor. Premier Romeo trying to catch this one right at the end. A New Endeavor, Premier Romeo, photo! Third was Bit of Bitter Butter, then Goodness Gracious in 1:51.
It was tight down to the line. Closing Premier Romeo, the 7 on the outside, but how game was the 10? A New Endeavor, as I don't know who quite got there. That's very tight, Rob.
That is very tight. I will leave that one up to the judges, but...
If you were calling the race, would you call the photo?
No, I don't think that would go over too well. But a good effort by both horses. Premier Romeo leaving it all to the last second to maybe at least make it very close.
Yeah, tough trip for the favorite Premier Romeo, though. Kind of buried down inside and had to wait to tip out.
Yeah, he had to wait, and he ended up having to go 3 wide to get around. Just waiting for A New Endeavor to clear, and then they battled down to the wire. Good effort by both, though.
Certainly, they made it very exciting here in this Joe Patchen as we take another look. And it was the 10 A New Endeavor kind of hit the front first. And then when he finally got clear sailing, the 7 Premier Romeo comes running, but not the easiest trip for your favorite, as tight photo finish between the 2 of them, but they certainly made it a thrilling finish to this Joe Patchen.
Yeah, after back-to-back open lengths winners, it's kind of nice to have this close photo and a little bit of drama and a really good performance, but looks like they're taking a real long look at this, and not much to separate them.
Not much indeed. You've got even money on the number 7 Premier Romeo and 4-1 on the 10 A New Endeavor. Justin Gabe still with us, guys. They made it exciting. Heartbreaking defeat for one. Neither deserved to lose that photo.
They definitely made it exciting there right down to the very end. A new endeavor wear down, goodness gracious, after making the way to the front there, Gabe, right before the half. And that long Hoosier Park stretch definitely benefited a new endeavor and, of course, Premier Romeo on the outside.
Yeah, it was tight, and we do have the results up. It is a dead heat. We've got a dead heat for win, so let's call it a tie. The judges unable to separate those two on the line, Jess. Premier Romeo got a nice tracking trip from the pocket there, and he got out. He took dead aim at a new endeavor. Standardbreds by nature, they like to draft other horses. They're doing a lot less work, but they're doing so. So hats off to a new endeavor. He didn't get to draft on anyone's helmet. He got away 6th or 7th. He was sort of first over there on the outside. He was taking all that air, and again, in this long stretch, as we mentioned earlier, 1,250 feet. Premier Romeo needed every inch of it to at least get up here at a tie, a dead heat for win.
They made it exciting, that's for sure. John DeLong, Kyle Wilflong, we'll see them both in Patch 31 later on. We'll send it back to you guys.
Some dancing, some celebrations, and absolutely worth it. Like I said, I mean, this race did not deserve a loser, and luckily we don't have one. A dead heat between the 7 Premier Romeo and the 10 a new endeavor. Definitely a thrilling one.
Yeah, a superb close finish, and both going to be going to the winner's circle. Thought it was a really interesting, cool drive by John DeLong to try to sneak away. Took his shot at him. He just about held off to get it all on his own. He gets the half of it. He gets the tie. But I thought that was quite cool with a new endeavor navigating from post 10 and that trailing position.
Absolutely. Impressive performance from that one. So a dead heat in the Joe Patchen 7 and 10. As seeing that close down to the wire, couldn't separate their noses in the end.
We've had a wonderful breeding program here for years.
Pennsylvania has an excellent program. The proof of that is Harrisburg in November. That's a major event for Pennsylvania. We bring in some 6,000 individuals from all over the world. They want to buy Pennsylvania breds.
This is where the top stallions are. A lot of the top mares are here, and between the 3 major tracks here in Pennsylvania, it's perfect.
Pennsylvania has always been at the forefront, and we want to keep it there.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NairaBets.com.
Adelphi Racing Club offers the unparalleled excitement of owning thoroughbred racehorses at a fraction of the cost. We're not just a syndicate, and our members aren't just investors. We are partners. Our New York-based high-performing equine athletes, trainers, and jockeys compete and win at the highest level circuits. Contact us online to get a taste of the Adelphi difference and come hang with us this Saratoga meet.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you.
We saw some excitement here on America's Day at the Races. Dead heat in the Joe Patchen as we get a chance to hear from both connections. Let's head down to Jess.
Thanks, Acacia, standing by with both winning drivers, Kyle Wilflong, John DeLong. We'll start with Kyle. Did you think you got there?
No, I thought John had me by an inch, to be honest.
And we've been kind of preaching this all night. The Hoosier Park stretch is very long. Did you think that was obviously to your advantage tonight?
We needed every inch of it to get there, so yeah.
We'll talk about Dan Patch. You obviously were the upset winner last year in this event with Ponda Warrior. You get to sit behind Duncan tonight, a horse who loves to win.
Yeah, I see he's won a lot. We'll see how he does on the big track. I think he definitely has a shot. I'm excited to be here.
It's a little chillier than we usually see it or feel it in the month of August. The track is playing kind of fair. What have you kind of adapted to and taken into consideration tonight?
Looks like you have to be pretty close to the front. Just got to have the horsepower, and there's a lot of it in the Dan Patch tonight.
Nice job, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
We'll bring in John DeLong, the other winning driver in here. Did you think you had him?
Maybe by a whisker, but, it's close. He's still pretty green, and he raced good, so.
We'll move on to the Dan Patch Buzzsaw Russ, 4-year-old coming into this race. You've been the primary pilot behind him. What have you seen from year to year?
He's gotten stronger. He can carry his speed a little farther, especially on the outside. Last year he had to be covered up a lot more, but now, if you can kind of get out in the flow around the half, he can really go.
And 7 of the 10 are 4-year-olds moving into this race. And a lot of times that 4-year-old year is a hard transition. Definitely something that it will work to his favor tonight. And him being a hometown horse as well. He's used to that long Hoosier Park stretch. What's he like to sit behind? Is he versatile?
Yeah, he can do just about whatever you want. He does race the best from off the pace, but, he can really sprint hard with the right trip. So hopefully we get that, and hopefully we're standing here in a little bit.
Nice job, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Okay, thank you very much.
There you have it. Kyle Wilfong, John DeLong, dead heat, and they're both heading into the Patch 31. We'll send it back to you guys.
Just thank you. Yeah, it could be a big night for both drivers, and I'm sure even whatever they might have thought at the moment coming down to the line, a dead heat there in the Joe Patchin, and could potentially set them each up for a big chance coming up a little bit later on.
Yeah, they still get to both count a win in the driver's standing, so they'll take it and trying to keep that momentum going. And we would take a photo finish like that in the Dan Patch later, wouldn't we?
Yeah, that'd be exciting. Hey, a win's a win, right? So you've got $260 on Premier Romeo, $4 on a new Endeavor. Very, very tight, could not be separated there in the Joe Patchin, as we've got the photo for you now. Ooh, look at that. Wow. And again, it's the nose that counts. This is like Noah Lyles in the 100 in the Olympics. I still can't believe he got that photo.
No, I can't believe that one either. And this one might have even been closer than that one. Or
Yeah,
obviously it was if it was the same.
that
But
heat, yeah.
it's what a close finish there, and what a cool look at the two of them. How after a mile they're literally in the same spot.
So very game from the top two finishers, dead heating there in the Joe Patchin, as that photo finish just goes to show you once again. That's when it's beneficial if you have a horse with like a long nose or a big head. You need a little bit of the stretch there, right at the end.
Yeah, you really need that. Maybe that longer frame just comes into
Yes,
play a
the
little bit
longer
more.
frame comes in. Yeah, that you always hear me talking about. Yeah, this is when you see the horse players doing the lean when they're coming down to the line. Dead heat in race 10. More live racing for you from Harris Hoosier Park after this on America's Day of the Races.
In Indiana, we grow it. And when it comes to harness racing, the Indiana program has grown to become one of North America's very best. Breed Development and the ISA have been there every step of the way by overseeing and promoting the Indiana sired racing, breeding, and stakes programs at every level. We're working to ensure a bright future for all of us.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the management and staff of Kayla, I would like to welcome you to the September yearling sale. Good to have you back with us.
It is the marketplace.
It's electric.
Quality in quantity.
Some of the absolute best horses.
These are the horses we're going to be cheering on in the next 4 or 5 years to come.
A shareholder to win the Norfolk.
Dornick win the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga. Randomized in a dramatic photo finish in the Ogden Pit.
We're back on America's Day at the Races. It's now America's Evening at the Races. Our program brought to you by Naira Bets. You can bet any track, anywhere, anytime. It's a beautiful shot. Make sure you sign up at nairabets.com or download the app today. As we have the Greg Hoston Memorial coming up next at Harris Hoosier Park. Race 11, a 1 mile pace. Here's a look at the field and a much more wide open board. It's low rider right now, who's 5-2, but meeting the rest of the field, Rob, starting off with a long shot from the rail, River Ness.
Yeah, it comes in from Scioto in Ohio. Gonna see how he fits in with this group, but he is a big price right now.
Here is Crooked Smile. Hasn't done too much wrong this year.
No, showed good gate speed last time. Did get a little bit tired late and got caught, but one that could try to take him gate to wire again.
Serious Mickey, one that comes from off of it.
Second last time, another player in here. Another one, he went to Lexington and then came back, but he's been in with these before.
Here's Yannick Gingras, American Classic.
I thought he was kind of a very interesting player in here. Dropping out of the open, gets a little class relief, as do some of them others.
Had to face Coach Stefanos last time out, as did your current favorite low rider.
Marvin Luna, the man of the last hour or so. He's got those 2 wins in the last 3 races. Lowrider certainly in play.
Here's Quixote, 8-1 right now in good form.
Looking for 3 in a row. Hasn't done anything wrong. What more could you ask for?
Bundarin, the 7, and there's the 8, Rolling Like Thunder.
Rolling Like Thunder showed good speed. From the outside, he's going to have to make a decision a little bit. Trace Teacher, who else would you want on the bike here, though? And then you've got this gray horse on the outside.
Yeah, the long shot. Caption this. How many times have you said that? You got a funny photo. You should take the dead heat photo from the last race and say, caption this.
There you go. So it works out right there. Caption this. Gonna have to work something out, but maybe he can get a photo taken as well.
Well, Quixote, 7-1 right now. This is a horse who, though, is in good form, as you mentioned, looking for 3 in a row. We'll take a look at his last. This 4-year-old coming from off of it a bit, but like I said, in good, very good form right now.
Yeah, he makes this good march here first over. He's got dead aim at Crooked Smile, and he's going to just grind him down here. Going to get up by a neck at 5-1, and going to be a good stretch battle here. And they went good fractions early, and he should get that again today. Their speed drawn down to the inside. So I think Quixote's an interesting live long shot if he can handle the droppers from the open.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to face some tough competition tonight, but a nice 8-1. You're getting a good price on him as well. I like the name too, Don Quixote. Don Quixote was my piece, my talent for Miss America. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I feel an
maybe
attachment.
there's your little,
I feel an attachment always. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
so
my hunch bet. Yeah.
So
I'm sure, for many, maybe a hunch bet tonight might have been drink up, drink up. I will go with Quixote as the hunch bet, but the favorite continues to be Low Rider, one of a couple coming out of that race, won by Coach Stefanos, who is going to be a contender later on in the Dan Patch.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how well the Coach Stefanos horses. Maybe you can make a little bit of a measurement what we might see in the Dan Patch later.
Top pick for you?
I tried American Classic. I just thought he was interesting in class relief. Yannick Gingras and Ron Berg.
7-2 right now at a nice price. Our handicappers all over the place. Jess and Gabe, this is a wide open one.
Yes, it definitely is. As you can see, the betting board, really nice betting board, Gabe, in the Greg Hoston Memorial. It's an open 2-3 here. We have a field of 9, 8-5 on the 5 low rider. You went to the 2 Crooked Smile. Jordan Ross in the bike, 2 for 16 so far this season. 7 wins from 27 last year. Tried to do the heavy lifting on the front end from post 7 last time out. Was in the Dan Patch up at Running Aces, a different stakes race up there. Was third in their signature event. Pretty consistent horse.
Yeah, you know you're a cool horse, by the way, when you have 2 different stakes races in the sport named after you. So that's the case with Crooked Smile. Just, Hoosier Park, we've talked about it. It's a little bit of a tough track to acclimate. Now, Crooked Smile has made many, many starts here throughout his career at the age of 7. He's banked nearly $500,000 now at this point. But I think returning back from Running Aces out in Minnesota here to Hoosier, maybe he just needed to start to acclimate over the track. He's done so much good work here in the past. He made over $150,000 last year. He's already taken a win here this year in 149 and change. So he's just a steady sort here at Hoosier Park. He's offering us a good number up there at 8-1. So I'm going to take a swing with a little bit of an upsetter in this type of field. It's a competitive group going to post here in this division.
Lowrider has been consistently racing in the opens here at Hoosier Park. Marvin Luna, Walter Haynes Jr. have already teamed up for a winner earlier on in the card with Drink Up, Drink Up. They will team up here with the son of Down by the Seaside. 50-4 last time out. Another horse that tried to do it on the front end. I think this guy really does maybe like to chase down a little bit of pace up front.
Yeah, and he's, obviously he's done some great work. He was 9-5 just in that field last time out. Now, even though he did flatten out and finish fourth, but take a look at who beat him, Coach Stefanos. That was that replay we rolled back a little bit earlier where Coach Stefanos rallied very wide in that spot, but he was 9-5 against Coach Stefanos, who's a horse who's going to be one of the favorites in tonight's featured Dan Patch. So that shows you how much respect that Lowrider typically gets. He's getting it back at the board here tonight at 9-5. Not an easy spot, maybe just a little easier than what he faced last out.
American Classic for the Hall of Fame duo of Yannick Gingras, Ron Burke in here, post 4 tonight. Well-traveled horse, as we've seen him on the East Coast and now in the Midwest. Get some much-needed maybe not class release, but maybe horse flesh.
Yeah, and we've said it before on some of our broadcasts, Jess, but worth always mentioning when you're noting trainer Ron Burke. He is the all-time leading trainer in the history of horse racing. Eddie Breed, he's at his mid-50s. He is going to win his 15,000th race at some point this year. He's the sport's $330 million man, so the numbers just continue to pile up. He's got a string of horses based here at Hoosier Park as well. The 4 American Classic, one of those. He typically doesn't get the services of Yannick Gingras, but he's in town tonight for the big stakes event a little later on, so he'll pick up the assignment here aboard American Classic as we get set here for race 11, the Greg Haston Memorial. We'll send it upstairs once again to track announcer Michael Chamberlain.
Field is on gate. They are off. Good beginning for Crooked Smile to the inside. River Ness, an American Classic. The favorite, Lowrider, comes away fourth. Then it's Sirius Mickey with Quixote. After that, Rollin' Like Thunder and Captain This. Bundoran is ninth. And last, on the first turn, and moving up on the outside to grab the lead is American Classic. By the quarter in 26 seconds, American Classic leads the way to the backstretch. Crooked Smile is second. Then after that, River Ness. Lowrider is fourth. Another length and a half off Sirius Mickey. Quixote follows there. And then it's Rollin' Like Thunder with Bundoran, and the trailer is Captain This. Single file as they approach the half-mile pole. And the leader is American Classic, and Yannick Gingras in front here a length as they pass the half in 54-1. Second quarter of 28-1. American Classic with the lead. Lowrider is moving up first over now, and Crooked Smile to the inside. Then it's River Ness and Sirius Mickey. After that, Quixote and Rollin' Like Thunder with Bundoran and Captain This the trailer. Lowrider to the outside of American Classic, and these two now quicken away. American Classic to the inside, Lowrider on the outside. Three-quarter time, 1:23 into the stretch. American Classic is holding off Lowrider, still has a 2-length lead. Lowrider second. Quixote trying to get a rally together third, and then Sirius Mickey is fourth. Inside that is River Ness. American Classic starting to pull away in front by 3. Lowrider, Quixote, then Sirius Mickey. It's American Classic. American Classic is the winner. Second, it is a photo with Lowrider and Quixote. Sirius Mickey was fourth in 149-3.
American Classic takes them gate to wire. Nice call, Rob. Top pick at 4-1.
Yeah, I'll take it. 4-1 there. $10 mutual. Yannick Gingras put him into play early, drove on with him, and that's going to be a new lifetime mark for the 5-year-old son of American Ideal. Ron Burke adds another training victory to his resume.
Yeah, you heard what Gabe was talking about of his already very impressive list of accolades, and just keeps that number growing. Trainer Ron Burke does. This 5-year-old gelding American Classic, pulling away from his company lead, though, too.
Yeah, this was another kind of geared down victory. He won by multiple lengths and really wasn't challenged. Close photo for second, though. Quixote getting up, maybe with Lowrider. We should have just maybe got our top 2 picks together and played a little exact.
There you go. I know. American Classic, though, no doubt about it. Definitely a much more comfortable margin of victory than that dead heat we saw in the last race. A Lowrider, who was your favorite, actually went off at 1-2, kind of made that move first over with Marvin Luna trying to come by and just had nothing.
Yeah, he had to do a lot of the work first over, but he was no match for American Classic. Got kind of close to him, and American Classic said not today, and he wrote his own chapter, and that was a very impressive victory. I'll take the $10 mutual, and I'm going to smile all the way to the bank.
Well done. As Jess and Gabe, we saw the celebration last week for the Hamiltonian with Yannick Gingras. His train keeps rolling as well.
Yes, exactly, Acacia. He's actually the last driver to go back-to-back in Dan Patches as well. We'll catch up with him later. I think the key here, Gabe, was Yannick put him in play early.
He did, but this was a crisp pace, Jess. He was on the business end of that opening half mile 54-1. That's quite taxing. So to see him still accelerate down the stretch, put away a fold like low rider, I thought was very impressive. He stepped up. He earned it. He was under that aggressive handling. Nice winner for American Classic.
On a chilly night, nonetheless, American Classic. It's a new lifetime mark, 149-3. We'll send it back to you guys.
American Classic taking them gate to wire, using that early speed to his advantage as Yannick Gingras gets the win. American Classic with the victory 4-6-5-3 in the Greg Hoston. Prices and more when we come back after this.
Join us at Saratoga Racecourse for the 4th annual New York Thoroughbred Aftercare Day. This special live race day celebrates retired racehorses and fun for the whole family. Free with paid admission on Thursday, August 15th.
Nominate your horse today to join Racing's Elite on Travers Week at Saratoga, August 21st through 24th. The championship road runs through 9 stakes, topped by the DraftKings Travers. Go to NYRA.com/horseman to nominate by August 10th.
On Friday, September 20th, Harris Hoosier Park will host the 6th edition of the $200,000 Caesars Trotting Classic. Watch live as North America's best trotters participate in Harris Hoosier Park's signature trotting event featuring 9 Grand Circuit races with purses totaling over $1.3 million. Enjoy food trucks, outdoor activities, giveaways, and more as part of our community night at the races. First post for the Caesars Trotting Classic is 6:15 p.m.
Monmouth Park's summer season rolls on with live racing action every Friday to Sunday. Monmouth's 2023 season featured our highest average field size since 2015, the perfect recipe for a prolific payday. With a stakes race every Saturday and Sunday, plus our Win Early Pick 5, Monmouth Park is your summer place to profit. Joining us on site? Lock in your odds with fixed odds wagering at Monmouth Park Racetrack.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
We're back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Naira Bets. You can bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Get started at NairaBets.com. In the Greg Hoston Memorial American Classic took them gate to wire. Yannick Gingras in the bike. He's standing by with Gabe.
Thanks so much, Acacia. Standing by here with the winning driver, Yannick Gingras. Yannick, you were down there pretty quick, 54 to 5th, but this guy had plenty left in the tank late.
Yeah, he raced really good. I know they made some equipment changes. Yeah, he was a little bit aggressive, but obviously on the front he wasn't going to pull, but he raced really good.
Were you even surprised off that stiff tempo? He's still able to accelerate through the stretch.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how he was going to be, honestly, but it was pretty good half. In the last turn, he felt really good, and when I called on him, he really did accelerate pretty good.
We've been chatting in the show tonight a little earlier about last week's Hamiltonian with Carl. Now that you've had a week to reflect, what did that win mean? Has it really sunk in yet?
Probably not. It still feels so surreal. It was really a special race. Obviously, I'm so happy for the horse too. That was my biggest thing. For him to get that on his resume. Of course, I'm glad to have it on mine as well. But what a tremendous horse, and it's a dream come true.
We can see the emotion you exuded across the finish line as well.
Yeah, no, that part, I kind of wish maybe I held it together a little bit better than I did. But, it's, 10, 15 years you're chasing something that, you guys, as I got older, you're worried that you're not going to get one. The chances are so far and few in between, and the real horses like him. Definitely it was a lot of emotion, but like I said, it was a long time.
Yeah, well, you're allowed to do what you want. I think when you win $1 million race, I thought it was awesome myself. You've got a chance to win a big one here tonight, the Dan Patch. You've got a live shot there from the inside with El Rey. What do we know about him coming in?
I think it's a wide open race. He definitely has a good chance in there. He was good for me on maybe land pace day or something like that when I raced him. But he had good pace. He had no wall of horses in front of him. The horses come into the race pretty good, and if I can get him a good trip, I think he'll be right there.
Best of luck the rest of the way. Yannick will have El Rey coming up here a little later. Race 13 to the big Dan Patch.
Yannick will be on the inside with El Rey coming up, but here he was on the lead with American Classic, getting the victory and just running away from his company, dominant in this effort.
Yeah, even more impressive, and Gabe pointed it out, that was a fast half and a fast back half as he really motored away from them, and Yannick put him in position, and American Classic did all the rest, 149 and 3.
Nice time there as well. $10 winner American Classic there in race 11. The Greg Hoston Memorial be the John Schuster Memorial coming up next. A 1 mile pace here for the 12th race. The 4 is out, and it is the 5 Mock David who's currently the favorite.
Yeah, and another one of these horses that's got a big shot and beat a number of these rivals last time, getting ready for this non-67.51 money class. Certainly a deserving favorite. I'm not sure he'll be as short as some of the others we've seen today, but he's the horse to beat.
More on this 12th race in a moment, but first, we often talk about the connection that we have here in the sport to horses and all that they give us during their time on the racetrack. Well, after their days at racing are over, they can continue to give and be such an integral part of healing for so many. As we learn a little bit more about the story of Warrior Ranch, you'll see how both the horses and the people involved go on their own healing journey.
Warrior Ranch Foundation began out of love of country and love of horses. Horses are very healing. They feel everything that you feel, and they mirror your emotions. So you have to be 100% in the moment when you're with a horse.
We want that connection for a veteran who's isolated or suffering from whatever symptoms you may be suffering from. Isolation is one of the first things we do. It's one of the most detrimental things. And once that human-horse connection is bonded, it also helps them to build a larger community.
I met Paul Martinez about 4 years ago. He asked me if I would be interested in helping him with a driving program. So I said, sure, I'd be happy to. I can't say no to veterans. I sent them to the Standardbred Retirement Foundation, had them pick out a horse. Standardbred Retirement Foundation had 400 retired horses. And what did they come home with but a horse too big to fit in my equipment, all beat up, scarred up, and with one eye. He turned out to be the best possible thing. These vets have all bonded with him. I think they relate to him. He's kind of an old warrior like they are.
You know, if you're sitting in a saddle, you're by yourself, and that's not a good place for a veteran to be. But if you're driving with Robbie at Warrior Ranch, you're sitting next to your buddy, just like you're sitting next to your buddy in a truck, you know, or a Humvee, just like back in the day.
The first time I rode with Sully, it was the most calming experience, and I credit him for restoring my tranquility. What happens is there's a natural connection where the veterans share their stories with each other. I found that to be very, very powerful.
It's given me a family and a community that I'm a part of, and I know no matter what, that's always in my back pocket. If I've got a problem, I'm gonna call someone from Warrior Ranch, or I might call Warrior Ranch directly, and I've got a team of people that are gonna help me out and support me.
We thought this was an excellent opportunity to show our support because these veterans have literally put their lives on the line for us. Every single one of them should be treated fantastic when they come back home. As I told Robbie tonight and those guys standing down there, this country loves you and we appreciate them for everything that they do.
You don't realize how much you touch lives. We are saving lives.
They saved my life. It's the least I can do.
If we're helping one veteran help adapt to society, I think the better question is, why wouldn't you do it?
It was Eileen's dream. We made it be a live dream.
Just love that feature and all of the wonderful work done at Warrior Ranch. And it's just amazing to see for anybody that's ever been around horses. Like I said, you know, that kind of the healing properties, but just so beautiful to see how the team there has been able to tie in working with these horses and finding them another job and what it's given to our veterans as well.
Yeah, what a great story and what a great program they've really put together there. And you talk about it, the healing kind of properties of a horse and the connection and what you can really feel with them and the journey they'll take you on. And it's such a touching story to see that. And it's wonderful to see for both the people involved and the veterans who they're really helping every day there.
Yeah, absolutely. Such a big fan of that program. Be sure to check it out for more information as we take a quick break and be back with some more live racing. The TAC is getting ready. We have the John Schuster Memorial Race 12 coming up after this.
Sharton, a repeater in the Lady Liberty in 146 and 4, a world record performance. It doesn't get any better than that.
It's still Temporal Hanover. Temporal Hanover will take the field by 3 parts of a length.
Lion Sentinel wins off a ground-saving trip in the She's a Great Lady, and she has set the stakes track and Canadian record tonight.
Chosen winners. Breeding champions.
Who's in for Mohegan? Obviously everyone. We're off to the races, and it's you for the win. A moment of calm before the dark and stormy. High score, one more, dance floor. Who needs skill when you have style? And feeling like it's the best time ever? Smile. Abs, craps, and nightcaps? Yes. Then it's down for the thread count to start it all again tomorrow. This is how it feels when you're all in for Mohegan. Mohegan Sun.
We're back on America's Day at the races. The John Schuster Memorial coming up next in race 12, a 1 mile pace. Mock David still the favorite, though a little bit more tepid now, 5-2, just as you said. Rob, you have Big Wheels, that's also 5-2. This is a little bit more wide open race, so we'll get a chance to meet the entire field here, starting off with a long shot from the inside, Shakertown. There's the 2, away we go.
Taking a lot of money off that 15-1 morning line, though. Fourth last time, a little bit of a rough trip, though. I see why he's taking some money.
Early speed from the 3, better than Spring.
You get Trace Teatrick. What more can you ask for with a little bit of a price here? Take your shot.
Now 2-1 favorite, Mock David.
It's about the right price for this 8-year-old son of Mach 3. 17 career wins, looking for number 18.
There's the 6, Down by the Ocean.
Down by the Ocean, third last time, behind Big Wheels. Made a little bit of an early move. Just was kind of no match, though, for Big Wheels.
Here's Henry the horse, second to Mock David last out.
Second last time, closing fashion. Looks to turn the table on him here. Currently getting 10-1.
Working on a Mystery, 9-1 right now.
He was the favorite last time against a lot of these, but was way out the back. He was wide, not the right trip, crossed that last effort out.
He was the favorite over Mock David, and you're getting a generous price today. Watching our coin went by, there's Big Wheels.
Big Wheels off the win last time, a deserving 4-1 shot. We saw a couple of good efforts from the trailing position earlier in the card. We're going to have to see another one here from Big Wheels with Brett Miller.
And Bet Mine, who also faced Mock David last time.
Yeah, another horse that's going to be a big price, and he's going to have to work out a trip from that second trailing position.
Take a look at your tepid favorite, Mock David. This is August 2nd. We're again beating several in here, including Henry the Horse, who finished second in this effort.
Yeah, so Henry the Horse is going to close at him a little bit. Mock David's the 2, who's just tipping out here to run down better than Spring. You can see, working on a Mystery, though, is the horse furthest on the left on the outside. He's been way at the back. He's going to close a little bit. He was no threat to the top 2, but Mock David is going to get the job done here, splitting horses, and he's now taking the lead. Henry the Horse charging at him, and that's how they're going to get down to the wire.
And Mock David, he did have an easier trip. He was impressive to win here this day. But do you give a look to a horse like Working on a Mystery, who, as you said, really tough trip last time. He's a much bigger price, and he was the favorite against a horse that's a major contender in here tonight.
Yeah, I was willing to give Working on a Mystery another shot here. I know you're going to have to figure something out, though, from post 8. So you run the risk of the same thing happening over again. But Mock David, I think you can take a shot against him, though he does certainly look good here.
I was just going to say, maybe I don't know standard bets as well, but I really like what I see from Mock David warming up out there. But quickly, Rob, top pick for you?
I'm going Working on a Mystery. Give me the price. Give me 10-1. I'll take my rip.
Getting a little bit of value there as we check in with Gabe and Jessica.
Speaking of Working on a Mystery, Gabe, a lot of interesting facts about him. Of course, he is a winner of over $1.2 million, 25 wins from just 88 starts lifetime, a son of Captain Treacherous, who has a lot of background.
He does. He was actually in the Dan Patch. That's going to be our next race in the card tonight, race 13. 2 years ago, he raced against a horse that we all remember, Bulldog Hanover. Not only did he race against him, Jess, he led that race all the way up at the half-mile pole. He actually surrendered the lead to Bulldog Hanover, where he ultimately finished third. Also working on a Mystery. He's taking a bit of a turn this year. As you said, classy millionaire. He was purchased at the Harrisburg auction last fall. The Connections opted to race him through January. You see that long break. He just returned to the races last month. That's because he was standing stud here in the state of Indiana. So this guy's pulling double duty this year. He missed about 7 months at the racetrack. He stood stud here in his first year for that over the Schwartz breeding farm. So, it's double duty. He's back here at the races. We'll see how he reacts. Still looking for that first win of the season. Maybe not quite as sharp, obviously, as what we've seen this guy in the past, but plenty of back class for Working on a Mystery.
Speaking of being sharp and winless in 5 starts so far this season, he had 7 wins from 20 starts last season, which is fairly lightly raced for older overnight horses. I feel like he's one horse that maybe kind of needs to race himself back into that shape there, like we had heard earlier on, kind of throw that last start out. Really just didn't go his way.
Yeah, the good news is if you like him tonight, he's up there at 12-1. You're getting a good price. I think he still gets a lot of respect just off his name alone, as we all remember Working on a Mystery just throughout his illustrious career. But he's been a beaten favorite in the last couple of starts. But tonight, if you do want to take a swing, you're getting a much more generous price. I just see it very tough for him to get into the race here. He typically, Jess, does not show a lot of early speed. You've got those 2 trailers. I think you could put him right behind the 8 ball here at the start if he's forced to take back.
You really do like one of the trailers in here, 5-2 on Big Wheels. Jeff Cullifer, Brett Miller in town. He'll pick up the drive in here. He comes off of a nice win last time out in 150 and 3 home, 26-4. He really, made that power move in that second quarter to take over things late in the stretch.
Yeah, he did, and that was a nice win. That was his 24th career win, Jess. And that's the fastest he's ever won, 150 and 3. So he comes off his fastest ever lifetime win. He's razor sharp. Guy knows how to get it done. He's 24 of 80 in his career, so he does win at a high clip as well. We'll have to negotiate the second tier. We'll see where he gets away at, but and we'll see how aggressive Brett Miller is once the dust settles.
Watching our coin, Jamie and Ricky McCumber, a popular duo here at Hoosier Park. An open horse recently dropped down last time out. He was second second behind Big Wheels.
Yeah, he raced well. He came first up there. He was the beaten favorite that night, but he was left uncovered. So he had to do all that hard work there on the outside. He just could not quite get to the 10 Big Wheels, but it was a nice game under runner-up spot there from watching our coin. We're going to take a look back at that replay. In fact, you'll see Big Wheels is going to be on the lead. Watching our coin's going to be working his way up methodically there on the outside with driver Ricky McCumber Jr. of the bike. These two battled it out through that stretch. How about this, Jess? They're both down underbreds. They're both bred in New Zealand. Well, that's about 10,000 miles away from Hoosier Park, but they both end up there in a 1-2 finish last week. As you see back on this replay, they're both right beside each other, at least in the program. We're watching our coin will obviously be forced from that tough outside post. Big Wheels tonight in the second tier.
You know, we see a qualifying line from watching our own on the front end. I think Ricky Sand is going to be forced a little here.
He could. It's going to be a tough way to go from post 9. There isn't anything easy. We should say about post 9 to begin with. So we'll let Ricky make up his mind on that. I think 8-1 though sounds right. From that type of post, it's not going to be easy.
No, it's definitely not going to be easy. Race number 12 is an overflow field of 11, the John Schuster Memorial here at Hoosier Park. We will send it up to Michael Chamberlain, who will have the call.
Starting gate rolling for race 12. 2-1 on Big Wheels. Field is on gate. They are off. Good start for Better Than Spring. Away we go. Shakertown at the inside. Then Mock David moves next with Down by the Ocean. Big Wheels is to the inside. Then comes Henry the Horse and Bet Mine as they move on to the first turn. After that, it's Working on a Mystery, and then Watching Our Coin is the trailer. And on a break, going to the backstretch was Mock David. Mock David went off stride entering the backstretch. First quarter was 26-3. They're on the backstretch now, and moving up fast on the outside is Big Wheels, and Brett Miller sends Big Wheels to the lead. Second is Better Than Spring. Away We Go is next in third. Then after that is Shakertown, Bet Mine. On the outside comes Down by the Ocean, and right behind that on the outside is Henry the Horse with a half mile and 55 2/5. On to the second turn they go. Big Wheels leading the way. Better Than Spring, Down by the Ocean, first over and moving right up into contention. Second over is Henry the Horse. And then third over out there, Working on a Mystery. Down to the inside, Away We Go. After that is Shakertown. Then comes Bet Mine and Mock David. 3 quarters up in 1:24-2, a 29-second third quarter. Big Wheels leads off the turn. Henry the Horse on the outside. Down by the Ocean is next. Better Than Spring. Away We Go. Needs some racing room down on the pylons. On the far outside moving up is Watching Our Coin. Watching Our Coin is driving fast down the outside. Henry the Horse is there. It's Watching Our Coin and Ricky McCumber Jr. coming from way back to win it. Photo for second. Working on a Mystery and Henry the Horse, then Big Wheels in 150.
There was a lot going on here. We'll go through it. Watching Our Coin, the winner, though, Rob, as you turned to me at this point, you said it's a cavalry charge here, and that's exactly what happened. The last move made by Watching Our Coin was the winning move.
Yeah, what a good late kick here. Ricky McComber Jr. in the bike. Second last time, again, we were talking about it. He was the favorite last time against Big Wheels. Now today you're getting him at 9-1. He made that last move, and he made the last move a winning one.
Certainly did, as with him there is the 7 Henry the Horse, who looked like he was absolutely loaded, able to come in and think might have even got nabbed for second there, but the pace setter was the 10 Big Wheels, who ended up going off as your favorite. Your second choice, though, and the horse taking the early money, Mock David, breaking stride pretty early on and unfortunately taking himself out of the race.
Yeah, this certainly changes the dynamics of the race. Mock David making that first over rush, and he just does go off stride right as he gets the lead. and effectively takes himself out of the race. Takes a while to gather himself back up. And that does set the race up for this prices, and you certainly got that here with a 9-1 winner on top.
Yeah, 9, 8, 7, 10, 9-1 over 13-1 over 11-1. So some upsets there. As Gabe and Jessica still with us, guys. A lot happening in this race, but it was Watching Our Coin victorious.
Yes, there was a lot going on in this race. I think the complexion of the race changed a little bit there, Gabe, when Mock David went off stride. You know, not an easy spot for Brett Miller to be in to put big wheels on the front. Watching Our Coin obviously benefited from coming way off the pace.
Yeah, he did. We said how hard it was going to be to get it done from that outside post, and Ricky McCumber showed us how easy it was to get it done from that post here tonight. This was a horse, Jess, was even money in this exact same series last week. That tough post tonight inflated that price 9-1. So good score there. That's not easy to do here at Hoosier Park, to pick off all of those horses down the stretch. This was a well-earned win from far back for Watching Our Coin.
At a nice price as well, and 9-1 after being favored last time out. Watching Our Coin gets it done for Team McCumber, guys.
9-1 winner in race 12, the John Schuster Memorial. Prices, reactions, and more. When we come back, stay with us on America's Day at the Races.
Premier Acres, located in northern Indiana, a premier breeding farm with state-of-the-art facilities and a team of dedicated caretakers. An impressive roster with some of the leading sires, including Temporal Hanover, Best in Show, Freaky Feet Pete, and more. Premier Acres, where winners are bred.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NairaBets.com.
Basing-Tipton New York bred yearlings, showcasing New York's finest yearlings. Recent grads include Grade 1 winner Therapist and graded stakes winner Mo Plex, plus 2023 New York bred champions Tara's Time, Dr. Ardito, Silver Skillet, and the Wine Steward. This year, over $65 million will be distributed in purse money, incentives, and awards for New York breds. Basing-Tipton New York bred yearlings, August 11th and 12th in Saratoga Springs, New York. Where will you be?
You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you by the Standard Bred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania. There's a look at the Dan Patch Stakes Trophy for 2024. Everyone in the field going to be looking to add that to the trophy cabinet.
Yeah, somebody's going to get to take that home, and somebody got to take home a winner there with Watching Our Coin, and he got the job done in the 12th race, and we'll see who's going to get the job done in the upcoming Dan Patch.
That's right, Dan Patch up next, about 16 minutes away. But yeah, Watching Our Coin, making that last run and making that last move and making it a big one as well. Watching Our Coin with the late closing kick. Looks like Henry the horse was just going to kind of swallow everybody up with that cavalry charge. Going to 9-1 upset for the McCumber team as Watching Our Coin gets the victory.
Yeah, Watching Our Coin, full of late pace there. It was funny, working on a mystery, had to wait for Watching on a Coin, to clear him, and he finally got out, and he actually gets up for second. That's a nice set of exotics. If you had any piece of that, 987 comes in. And it was the 3 horses that were closing the best the last quarter mile.
Absolutely. $20 winner there in the 12th, an upset with Watching Our Coin getting the victory. As we mentioned, it's Dan Patch time coming up next in the 13th in this 1 mile pace. And it's always fun when you have these big stakes races to see what they're named after. And Dan Patch, the horse, was a bit of a celebrity, as well as take a look at Dan Patch as he was undefeated in open company. Love looking at some of these old portraits. So regal.
Yeah, such a big part of the sport, and such of the history and where so much of this has come from. And we'll honor him today and look to somebody to add their name to honor his legacy.
Absolutely. In the early 1900s, Dan Patch setting records. Like I said, bit of a celebrity. 73 for 73. Just incredible, really. And of course, inducted into the Harness Racing Museum Hall of Fame in 1953.
That's
how about that record?
That's a pretty hard record to beat right there. And we've honored his sire with a race named after him earlier, the Dam race with a race named after him. But now we got the big one coming up, and certainly couldn't name a race after a more accomplished runner.
Absolutely, just amazing. Like Gabe said earlier, you know you're a cool horse when you have multiple stakes named after you. But this is the big one, the Dan Patch coming up, a marquee event at Harris Hoosier Park, race 13 today. And it is actually Coach Stefanos who's taking the early money. But we've talked about some of the major players throughout the evening, and you really can make cases for quite a few of them. A pretty interesting group as they will line up for this 1 mile pace and competitive and prestigious race.
Yeah, and I think a very wide open race, and we're going to get to see who's taking the step forward. Gabe was talking earlier about all the 4-year-olds, and which one of those 4-year-olds is taking that next step forward and maybe getting closer to being near the top of this division. So I think it's an interesting group, and they come from all corners of the country, so I think we're in for a real doozy here.
Absolutely, as we've seen some big winners of the Dan Patch. Indeed, you think back to Bulldog Hanover 2022 as well. And as we mentioned, paying tribute to a truly remarkable horse back in the early 1900s in Dan Patch. And we'll see who can add their name to the history books tonight. Some early thoughts on what you see from the board right now?
I was a little interested to see how El Rey was taking the money and how that was kind of going. I was intrigued. You get Yannick Gingras. He won the Hambo last week. You got the driver. I think he goes forward from the inside. Andrew Harris certainly was confident, listening to him talk to Jessica earlier. So I think it's a very interesting race in that front, but it's a wide open one. I think you can make a case for 6 or 7 of them.
Absolutely. As we will take a little look back to last year's edition of the Dan Patch, as we talked about Charlie May in the second flight in the second tier once again, as we've seen some terrific performances throughout the running of this race. As we take a look at the 2023 edition, which was of course held at Harris Hoosier Park, and big performance once again. Closing there on the outside, Honda Warrior, who will try to defend his title this evening.
Yeah, what a good closing late kick there through the middle. We'll see if an effort like that, and look at that, number 11 there. He must have worked out quite a doozy of a trip there, and so we'll see if somebody can add their name to the bowl there, and who's it going to be?
And I should have mentioned Honda Warrior, mentioned on the card earlier, excuse me, but Honda Warrior, the winner, pulling a bit of an upset last time out. She mentioned Bulldog Hanover back in 2022. Just kind of talk about a celebrity in the sport, kind of one that even transcended harness racing. We were talking about it here on the thoroughbred side as well. You think back to his last race over at the Meadowlands. Just even Barbara Livingston was there. I always mention that. Photographers, media, everybody wanted to go and get a chance to watch a horse like that.
We were even over there for the race, and they gave away the mugs, and it was one of those interesting days.
Cool.
And I ended up leaving it at the Meadowlands, so I lost my chance to have the piece of Bulldog Hanover. So it was one of those, but it was such a sensational moment, and he was such a superstar.
Yeah.
And it was just cool to see him in that moment.
Absolutely was. As we'll check in now with Gabe, standing by with a very special guest. Gabe.
Yes, indeed, Acacia. Thanks so much. I've got Joe Morris, the Senior Vice President of Racing Operations with the Caesars Entertainment. Joe, we get to catch up with you a couple of times a year here at Hoosier Park as part of America's Day at the Races. Nothing better than Dan Patch Night.
Nothing better. It's our signature event of the year, and we're excited to have it here again this year. We got a great crowd. They're betting with both hands, so it's a great night. The weather's good, and 150 horses racing here tonight.
Yeah, it's our kind of night. Good handle and good racing. We know that. Now, you guys are routinely on about 45 minutes away here with the Thoroughbreds over at Horseshoe Indianapolis as well.
We're on regular, and we're having a record year this year. It was the first time the Indiana Derby ever went over $8 million in handle, so a real good racing program there also.
It's a huge milestone, and we've got some excitement coming up here in the Caesars portfolio, so to speak, because we're about to come on board with another track, I believe.
How about we are opening the first new track in Nebraska in a many years. It is the first 1 mile oval since XR Bend closed. We open next Friday at 4 o'clock. So we're excited about that.
All right, so I'm sure you're going to be off to Nebraska shortly to oversee that opening.
I'm going to start about 4:30 a.m. Sunday morning, and I'll be there Sunday to Sunday, but we're having a real good time. 2 years ago, that was a cornfield. And now we've got the casino open, and we've got the 1 mile track going to open this Friday. So we're real excited about that.
Congratulations on all the success. Best of luck out in Nebraska. And we always appreciate being here as part of America's Day at the Races.
And we appreciate Fox's support, and you always bring us a big day, and we're happy about that.
All right, guys, that's a sort in the winner's circle as we get set here for the feature tonight, the Dan Patch. That's up next.
A lot of excitement coming up, Gabe. Thank you. And very exciting stuff for the new racetrack coming in Nebraska. As here's a look at the field for this year's Dan Patch Stakes. Again, a 1 mile pace. And Coach Stefanos, you've got Rock and Roll Bruno with that amazing close up the inside. And Charlie May, poor Charlie May, trying to come back after being in the second tier 2 years in a row. We'll talk more about the contenders for the 31st running of the Dan Patch Stakes after this on America's Day at the Races.
We've had a wonderful breeding program here for years.
Pennsylvania has an excellent program. The proof of that is Harrisburg in November. That's a major event for Pennsylvania. We bring in some 6,000 individuals from all over the world. They want to buy Pennsylvania breds.
This is where the top stallions are. A lot of the top mares are here, and between the 3 major tracks here in Pennsylvania, it's perfect.
Pennsylvania has always been at the forefront, and we want to keep it there.
Countless individuals have contributed to the success that has made Brittany one of the world's great standard bred farms. Partners, owners, trainers, drivers, and caretakers, and everyone at the farm who works to achieve the same goal: breeding and raising champions. It's been an amazing journey, and we couldn't have traveled in better company.
Bulldog Hanover comes off the turn with the lead, working on a mystery to the inside. Rocky Road Hanover is there on the outside. Also trying to come on wide is Backstreet Shadow. Bulldog Hanover leads into the final eighth of a mile, has it by 2 lengths. It's Bulldog Hanover. Bulldog Hanover has won the 29th Dan Patch Stakes.
The amazing Bulldog Hanover in the 2022 Dan Patch Stakes. We now know that Rob got to see him live, also forgot the mug, but I learned it was because he was cashing a ticket. So that is all fair. But in all seriousness, as we said, turned out to be such an incredible ambassador for the sport as well. You know, just so dominant at what he did.
Yeah, he really had that summer, and he just took over, and he was basically the conversation really going through, and it crossed over even into the thoroughbred side of how excited everybody was to see him. And the Dan Patch performance was spectacular. Yeah. One of just so many that he put up that summer when really nobody could touch him. They took him around, and really doesn't matter where the race was, if it was what racetrack it was on, he was the horse to beat, and he didn't really get beat.
No, he was incredible. Bulldog Hanover, as Justin Gabe's still with us. And guys, you know, we talked about Bulldog Hanover and what he really did for the sport of harness racing, attracting so many fans, people that wanted to come out and get a glimpse of him and see his greatness on the track.
That was one thing that was so awesome about Bulldog Hanover. Not only his ability to, you know, perform on the racetrack, but to bring so many people out to the races. You know, I was able to cover a lot of the events that he was in, Gabe, whether it was Canada, Lexington, Hoosier, the Dayton Pacing Derby, the Meadowlands. There was a crowd waiting for him.
Yeah, and all of us that love horse racing, Jess, doesn't matter maybe what your favorite particular breed is.
Right.
We can all appreciate greatness. You don't see horses like Bulldog Hanover, Couple Dog very often, so we really get to take in each and every time we saw him at the track here. And just a couple of short years ago, he was winning the Dan Patch. He's now standing stud up in Ontario, so Bulldog's doing well from all reports on that. But it was quite the night here. And keep in mind, that was only a month after or so. He was the all-time fastest standardbred ever to live when he won in 1:45.4 up at the Meadowlands. That was just an easy win here at his Dan Patch.
That was his 4-year-old season. He won the Dan Patch in 2022. The last 5 winners of this race have been 4-year-olds. It was Latherup to set the stakes record in his 4-year-old season back in 2019. The last horse that wasn't a 4-year-old was Lazarus in 2018. I think that speaks volumes coming into this field tonight, Gabe, because 7 of the 10 are 4-year-olds.
Yeah, they're going to have a major shot to keep that streak intact, Jess, because, yes, it is overloaded with 4-year-olds in this field tonight. Good group. You know, I do still think those horses based locally here at Hoosier Park. We looked at the 3 Buzzsaw Russ. We looked to the 7 Coach Stephanos. Also, Why Not Now has been, you know, in Indiana throughout the majority of his career. You know, I think they have a little edge. As we said, sometimes you need to acclimate to this track. The turns are very tight, sometimes compared to some of our other standardbred services. That stretch is very long. A lot of times when horses ship in for the first time, they may just not get around this track quite as easily. So, you know, I do think that gives them an advantage. We've seen that in the past here with some of the stakes action at Hoosier Park, on the Breeders' Crown as well, even some of the locally based horses. So it's going to be a good one. This is a loaded field. It's deep, as everyone said all night long. You know, there is no Bulldog Hanover here. There's no standout that just jumps off the page. So it's much more competitive, I think, in terms of watching it, and even from a betting standpoint as well.
You know, I was able to catch up with John DeLong earlier on. He's going to be sitting behind Buzzsaw Russ, one of the hometown horses. And I asked him, you know, he's his primary pilot through his 2, 3, and 4-year-old season. What's been the difference from then to now? And you know, he said he's very strong this year. He really likes to finish his miles off. And another thing is he feels as if he's handier. And I think that's a huge advantage coming into this race tonight, because there's a lot of horses that are going to want to close from off the pace.
Yeah, there is indeed. It's going to be a little interesting, you know, off the gate, and just exactly what position everyone is going to take. You're taking a look now at Buzzsaw Russ, just absolutely easily coasting O'Meara. Last quarter, 25-3 there, Jesse. He was a 1-2 favorite. That's Coach Stephanos right behind him and finished second. He won't come in with post 7. Now, I talked about it a little earlier. Those two right there, the finishing 1-2 on the screen, they've hooked up 19 times throughout their career. Right now, Coach Stephanos has the 12-7 advantage, but you just saw Buzzsaw Russ did get one closer there with that last time they hooked up on that replay.
You know, my only concern about Coach Stephanos coming into this race tonight is he does like to chase down those horses, and sometimes he can just be a bit too far out of it. So I'm here in the Breeders' Crown last year behind Confederate. I think he was a bit way too far in that race, and sometimes I feel like when he gets beat, he's a bit too far. We saw at the Meadowlands try to do the work on the front end with David Miller in the bike as the favorite back on June the 22nd. He just couldn't handle the work on the front.
Yeah, and this was a tricky spot here. You're watching him right now in the widest possible spot throughout the stretch. I thought he may have been too far back here. He was sitting last, in a pretty good field there. The fractions weren't overly taxing, Jess, and that one 55 and change, 24 and change for the 3/4. But when we got in gear here, you'll see he just coasted by. Driver Trace Tiedrick and some of the press leading up to this event said he just wanted a nice, easy start for Coach Stefanos. He raced him maybe on the last quarter of a mile or so after just drafting and following throughout. So, I think he's coming in peak form here as well. That's going to be the key. If he races from off the pace, he's going to need a lively tempo to chase to try and make up the difference.
There's not been a whole lot of talk about Charlie May. He is, of course, a millionaire, a 2.1 millionaire winner, a lifetime, 27 wins from 70 starts. 0 for 7 on the season so far, Gabe. He is the only duplicate entry this year in the race, and he had post 10 last year as well.
He did. He raced extremely well. He was a good, solid second there. Took a close photo with the runner-up spot, but he got it done. He had a tough trip, Jess. He had that second-tier starting slot, as you said. He was first up. He headlines the field, though, a double millionaire. This is a field combined earnings well over $7.2 million. And you see Charlie May, they've got a lot of respect for him on the board right in the betting public. He was double digits in the morning line, not so fast. 7-2 right now. He's playing as a lukewarm second choice, but look at that board, Jess. Look how wide open this is from a betting standpoint. What a great event here in terms of competitiveness for the 31st Dan Patch.
It really is. And just to talk about, the resume on Charlie May's season this year, like I said, 0 for 7 with 4 second-place finishes. It speaks volume for how tough the Ohio circuit is, because he had 2 open starts before going into the Brower. He had post 9. He got away in the middle of the pack. He charged home to be second behind a Buckabet Hanover, who went back-to-back in the Brower and in the Houghton. He was odds of 14 to 1, in the Brower. Then he dropped down to 4 to 1, and I think they just maybe overdrove him a bit there.
Yeah, I think so. It's not like he's not been racing well. He's been on the board 5 of 7, even though he is winless. Looking for that first win here at his 6-year-old campaign. So you can never count out Charlie May. Cool story here as well. Owner Don Tiger, also the breeder, is over in Ohio. Unfortunately, couldn't be here with us tonight, but he breeds 1 horse a year. How cool is it that he ended up with Charlie May, who's made about $2 million and change here heading into this event? So cool story, a great operation, and you can never discount him. No one doing so right now as he continues to take steady action.
And he's a very versatile horse as well. He can be forwardly placed off of the gate, maybe not just overuse him. I believe that the name behind Charlie May was Charlie May Be a Champion, and that's what they got was Charlie May. So we send the best of luck to everybody competing in Patch 31. We're getting ready for the post parade. We'll send it back to the desk.
Jess and Gabe, thank you. There it is, the call to post. And you love to hear those stories behind the scenes. Breeds 1 horse a year, and you get a horse that's banked over $2 million in the likes of Charlie May. Pretty incredible.
That's a wonderful story. What keeps you going in this and keeps the dream alive, right?
Here's the field for the Dan Patch, starting off with El Rey from the inside.
Very game winner last time in a 3-horse photo. A really impressive effort. He's going to have to acclimate, but from the inside, he's got a shot.
Here is Duncan. Kyle Wilfong involved in that dead heat earlier.
Coming off 2 troubled efforts at Yonkers, ships in. We'll see what Duncan has to offer here.
Buzzsaw Russ, the hometown hero.
Little tepid on the board coming off those back-to-back wins. Him and Coach Stefanos going to renew that rivalry.
The connections of this horse will be saying exactly that. Why not now?
And why not? He showed some speed last time. He's going to be a bit of a price in here, but he's got some miles back there that certainly fit with this group.
Can be forwardly placed, as well as we'll see what he does stacking up against this level of competition. Likely have to take a bit of a step forward. Here is the 5, Christchurch, trying to get back on track.
Yeah, this 4-year-old son of Always Be Mickey. Second 2-back in a money race. 11th last time in the McKee. You got to kind of throw that out. He was 45 to 1, beaten by the 6 Rock and Roll Runner, who we see on our screen now.
Rock and Roll Rona, who's one of the 7-year-olds. More on him in a moment. There's Coach Stefanos, still your favorite.
One of your other local contenders. He's going to be coming with good late finish.
Trace Tetrick in the bike, 5-2 for Coach Stefanos, as he still taking a lot of the early money, trying to make it 2 in a row, see if he can step forward and win this coveted Dan Patch title. Next will be a bit of a long shot, but we learned a bit about Marvin Luna, trained by Andrew Harris.
Yeah, one of the 2 in the race for Andrew Harris. A little bit chilly on the tote board at 25-1. 8th last time, ships in from the Netherlands. We'll see what Marvin Luna can do with this son of Stay Hungry.
Big price on the 9, spring in his step.
Yeah, trained by Jeff Cullifer. Michael Oosting in the bike, 3rd last time in the Open. Another horse that's going to have to work out a trip from the outside.
A 7-year-old, and here's the 6-year-old Charlie May. What a cool horse he is. As we just said, banked over $2 million. Will have to start from that 2nd tier, though.
Certainly a live contender, though, from that trailing position. And we see Rock and Roll Runner, who gets a great trip here in the Sam McKee Memorial. Gets up the inside here in a second. He's got horses stacked in front of him, though. He's got lots of work to do, and he's going to get it done here.
Yeah, pretty impressive for Rock and Roll Runa, who was a big price this day. Very big price indeed. As you see, 65-1 coming up the inside for standard breds. Obviously, they're quite agile, but you have the size of the bike as well when navigating traffic. Makes it that much more impressive for him to be able to kind of duck down to the inside and get the win like that.
Yeah, a very impressive finish. He finished up, and certainly I wanted a little piece of that mutual at 68-1 after the finish. You're not going to get that today, but he certainly is a player shipping in from the Netherlands.
9-2 on Rock and Roll Runa, winning that McKee last time out. As you said, a player, Coach Stefanos. How do you feel about Coach Stefanos as the favorite?
I'm worried he's going to leave himself a lot to do. He's certainly a live player. He's had the turn the tables on Buzzsaw Russ. We've heard the stats from Gabe and Jess all night. We're going to see them again. I'm worried he's going to be having a lot to do in that last 1/8 of a mile.
See if he can time it right. Coach Stefanos at 2-1 right now. Buzzsaw Russ, he has been living up to his name. He certainly has been a buzzsaw and a horse that's been based here at Hoosier Park. And I thought one thing that Gabe mentioned was quite interesting too about the configuration of the track and how maybe some horses just don't necessarily handle it as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting kind of configuration. It's not one of the unique ones, or not one of the normal ones, not one you see all the time. Certain horses are going to take to it better. Certain horses are going to take longer to acclimate to it. So that's an interesting factor here with a number of them having races over the track. We see Why Not Now on the screen. He's got a couple of races back in the form back in June at Hoosier, so he's got that. Looking to get back in the winner's circle, actually the site of his last victory back on June the 22nd.
He's 9-1 right now, so you'll get a bit of a price. Where are you going to land on this race?
I'm going to go with El Rey. I want to go to the inside. I'm going to try to go to the front. Yannick Gingras looking to make it back-to-back weeks with a big win. We'll take the Andrew Harris trainee.
As we see 3 different picks from our handicappers, let's check in once again with Jess and Gabe.
Thanks, Acacia. We've touched, at length on a few of these horses in here, Gabe, and just maybe a few other notes. The trainer change on the 4 Why Not Now is now Tyler George. Back in 2021, Todd Luther and Greg Luther, the brothers, teamed up to win with Catch the Fire. Greg owns both the 4 and the 5. Why Not Now is another hometown horse, like we had mentioned earlier, that won the progress pace at the end of the year against some of the top 3-year-old colts in the country. He's on the board right now at 9-1. A good post to work with, and a horse who's having some success here at Hoosier Park, Jordan Ross.
Yeah, no, the credentials here just speak for themselves on the 4 Wide Out. Now, this guy was a $38,000 yearling purchase. He's earned north of $720,000 throughout his career. Now, it's been a little bit of a disappointing campaign for him. He had 6 starts so far this year. He's yet to hit the board. He's been a beaten horse at a short price the last couple of starts. Just hasn't that same type of knockout punch to him, so to speak. But he does move over into the care of Hoosier Park's leading trader here for the last several seasons, Tyler George. He hits it over a 400 clip. His batting average, so to speak, at the trader standings. He's been dominant here. I'm not exactly sure what he did get the horse, but I know he raced 6 days ago over at Souder Down, so he was not in his care that night. So, my question is, how long has he had the horse? And what adjustments has he been able to make in that short time span? If he could try and turn around Wide Out Now here, he'll have his work cut out with such a short window.
We talked about working on a mystery doing stud duty. This guy did stud duty in the state of Indiana in the beginning of the year as well. That's why he only has 6 starts on a season, could not travel outside of the state of Indiana until June. That's when you see him go up to Woodbine Mohawk Park in the Graduate. You know, Andrew Harris has been around top horses his entire career, working under Casey Coleman and many other trainers as well. He's got 2 in here. El Rey, 7 Colors. Both took different paths. We talk about the transition from 3 to 4 and 4-year-olds facing the older company. We've talked about this all night. 7 of the 10 are 4-year-olds. These 2 took different paths. One raced in the Kentucky Sire Stakes. The other one raced in the Graduate. You know, he said 7 Colors got a bit sick on him coming back from Canada. And realistically, if you go and look at that line last time, I know he didn't get any money, but it was a really good line.
Yeah, it was a nice start. He hadn't raced in nearly a month there, Jess. Speaking of the 7 Colors, you know, he made up some ground, you know, just raced home evenly, but I thought it was a fair enough start. It was a good tightener, I think, so to speak, for tonight. So we'll see what Marvin Luna has in mind here. You know, second start off with a little bit of a layoff. You know, I think a long shot, 25-1 sounds about right. Yadik Jingra has driven the one El Rey for trainer Andrew Harris exactly one time. That was just a few weeks back on Meadowlands Pace Night here at the Meadowlands. He left the gate with El Rey, 26-1, 53-3. He was part of that toward early tempo. He's got post 1 here. If he opts to try and dictate some of the terms, I think he'll be very aggressive here, his typical style aboard the one El Rey.
12-1 on the 2 Duncan. 21 wins from 40 starts last season. This guy loves the winner's circle, of course. That will be Kyle Wilflong looking to make it back-to-back in the Dan Patch. Patch 31 is behind the gate. We will send it up to the track announcer, Michael Chamberlain.
2 on Buzzsaw Russ and 4-1 on last year's runner-up, Charlie May. Field is on gate. They are off in the 31st Dan Patch Stakes. And going right out for the lead is Christchurch. LaWayne Miller sending Christchurch up top. El Rey is second. And then Buzzsaw Russ. Charlie May from the second tier has got good position, 4th at the inside. Then Duncan is next. Alongside that, Why Not Now? Moving after that is Rock and Roll Runa. Coach Stefanos is 8th. 9th is 7 Colors in Spring, and his step trails the field after a first quarter of 26 seconds. Christchurch by 2 lengths. El Rey is second, and after that comes Buzzsaw Rush. Charlie May is 4th, and then it's Duncan. Next comes Why Not Now? Rock and Roll Runa is 7th. After that is Coach Stefanos, and the trailing 2 are still 7 Colors in Spring in his step, with a half up in 54-3, a second quarter of 28-3. The field enters the second turn, and Christchurch has led from the start. But Buzzsaw Russ moves up on the outside now to apply some pressure, and Charlie May is going to go second over. El Rey is to the inside. Duncan is third over, with Rock and Roll Runa down to the inside. Next is Why Not Now, and then Coach Stefanos with 3/4 up in 122-2. Buzzsaw Russ has taken the lead. It's Buzzsaw Russ opening it up to 3 lengths now. Charlie May to the outside, El Rey to the inside, then Christchurch far outside. Coach Stefanos is trying to close in. Buzzsaw Russ still 2 lengths in front in deep stretch. Coach Stefanos is coming very late, as is Duncan. Duncan from between horses. Duncan, and Kyle Wilfong wins the Dan Patch for the 2nd straight year. 149-1. It's a multi-horse photo for second, but Duncan comes through, and Kyle Wilfong comes through once again.
In a thriller in the Dan Patch, Duncan gets the victory. He's been kind of that small track specialist, Rob, and right when you thought Buzzsaw Russ might have been home, started to get a little leg weary, and that's when everybody came running.
That long Hoosier Park stretch got Buzzsaw Russ, who looked like a winner, and then all of a sudden the swarms were coming. Duncan gets the job done. 20-1 here, pulling up an upset.
Wow.
Back-to-back years for Kyle Wilfong, and what a close here late for Duncan.
Absolutely, and I believe outside of him, your favorite, the 7, Coach Stefanos, might have gotten second. He was closing as well, but kind of from nowhere came Duncan, and finishing full of run at 20-1. Certainly did not perform today like he was that price.
No, that was a big effort from him. Coming off the 2 kind of troubled trips, what a impressive performance, closing late. Really didn't think it was going to be anything other than Buzzsaw Russ until the
Right.
last 10 or 12 jumps. And all of a sudden it was, here they all come, and Duncan gets his nose in front.
That long stretch at Hoosier that we talked about. For some, it was a benefit, like some of the closers earlier on the card that needed every inch of it. Buzzsaw Russ, though, got caught late by Duncan. Gabe and Jessica, Kyle Wilfong, back-to-back wins in the Dan Patch, but Duncan pulling the big upset with a nice performance.
Yes, a very nice performance by Duncan. I told you guys this horse likes to win. Now, Gabe, coming down the stretch, he was third over. Almost looked like he was stalled there a bit, but I think the Hoosier Park stretch got to Buzzsaw Russ there late.
Yeah, there's no question about that. That long home stretch, Buzzsaw Russ looked to, have a big head jump there to maybe get the job done, but it was Duncan. Great effort. The 4-year-old streak continues here. How about Kyle Wilfong? Pulled off the upset last year with Ponda Warrior. He returned $36 and change. This year he's going to return well over $40 with the upsetter Duncan. Talk about bargain buys. Duncan was just a $7,000 yearling. With the win tonight, he's going to move over $600,000 in his career. For the 4-year-old that's been well-traveled and heavily raced, he keeps a busy schedule. He raced 40 times last year at the age of 3. He's already raced 25 times now at the age of 4, the biggest win of his career.
Duncan upsets back-to-back years for driver Kyle Wilfong. We'll send it back to the desk.
Gabe and Jessica, thank you. Duncan pulling the upset, smiling faces there in the winner's circle as they get the victory in the 2024 Dan Patch Stakes, hoisting the trophy for Kyle Wilfong.
And it looks like we had a dead heat for second. Buzzsaw Russ and Coach Stefanos, they continued their rivalry, and they couldn't separate them tonight. But they just couldn't get the best of Duncan.
Absolutely, as Duncan still fired up there in the winner's circle after that big closing kick, getting the victory in the Dan Patch. It looks like he's ready to go around again.
He's pretty fired up in there. He knows he got the job done, and big effort from Duncan.
Yeah, absolutely. Made it exciting. And as Rob said, dead heat for second between the 3 and the 7, rivalry continuing. So 2 dead heat for second between 3, 7, and then Charlie May checking in third. He's always right there, Charlie May.
Yeah, Charlie May closing for 4th. Just kind of a hard luck trip again. That trailing position might have just kind of got the better of him.
Just a little bit too much to do. But Duncan gets the victory. Let's go back to Jess.
Thanks, Acacia, standing by with winning driver Kyle Wilfong. Kyle, third over coming down the stretch. You know, what was going through your mind then?
Well, we're in position. It's almost over, and I had plenty of horse left, so I was sitting pretty.
Back-to-back years upsets in the Dan Patch. You become a mainstay driver here. What does it feel like?
Feels pretty darn good.
You got the call later, or I guess, after the draw came out. What were your thoughts when maybe Nick and Betty called you?
Nick was more concerned about me getting out of the gate. He told me the last thing he said was, you get out of the gate, you're going to win the Dan Patch. And apparently he knew what he was talking about.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Duncan takes the Dan Patch 31 in upset fashion tonight. 149-1, back-to-back Dan Patches for driver Kyle Wilfong. What an exciting one it was, Acacia.
It certainly was. Here's another look, Jess, and that's what we were talking about there in the white saddle towel as the 3 Buzzsaw Russ looked home. And that long stretch getting the best of him, but thriving off of that was Duncan pulling the upset in the Dan Patch. Rob, great job tonight.
Thank you.
Very
Thanks
much.
for having me. Great job to you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to get a chance to hear your insight and to share the desk with you. And hopefully we'll get a chance to do it again someday.
For sure. That'd be great. And a fun night of racing and a fun winner in the Dan Patch.
Absolutely. 20-1 upset with Duncan. For Gabe Pruitt, Jessica Otten, Rob McLennan, I'm Acacia Clement as we have our prices in for the Dan Patch before we say goodbye. As Gabe promised, well over $40, $42 winner there in race 13, the 31st running of the Dan Patch Stakes. 2, 3, and 7. Again, a dead heat for second there between Buzzsaw Russ and Coach Stefanos. So $42 winner from Duncan. Back-to-back Dan Patch victories for driver Kyle Wilfong's big celebrations tonight, I'm sure. Thanks so much to everybody for joining us this evening for special coverage of Dan Patch Night over at Harris Hoosier Park. We hope that you enjoyed it as much as we did. We saw a lot of excitement, including a couple of dead heats tonight.
A couple of dead heats. We couldn't even separate them. What a fun night of racing.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us on America's Day at the Races. Don't forget, we'll be back in action tomorrow. Thoroughbred Racing is back on Saturday here at Saratoga after some wet weather earlier today. But luckily, throughout the second half of the afternoon, the sun was shining. It was Duncan in the Dan Patch. Came flying. Small track specialist picks up a big one here in the Dan Patch at 20-1. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow starting off at 12:30 on FS2 for Saratoga Live. Good night, everyone.
In Indiana, we grow it. And when it comes to harness racing, the Indiana program has grown to become one of North America's very best. Breed Development and the ISA have been there every step of the way by overseeing and promoting the Indiana sired racing, breeding, and stakes programs at